packed with young talent, and in their first away game of the league season at Wolves, they scored 6, but we're still not quite sure what to expect. Bournemouth have Travers in goal. Kepa can't play against his parent club. Travers, incidentally, is the third different goalkeeper that Bournemouth have used already this season. Smith, Zabarnyi, Senesi and Kerkez are the defenders. Cook and Christie in midfield. Semenyo, who's in excellent form. Kluivert and Tavernier behind Evan Nielsen, the club record signing, who's still looking for his first Bournemouth goal. For Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez not in the squad tonight. He's unwell. Likewise, Dewsbury Hall. And there are 2 changes to the team that drew with Crystal Palace. Renato Vega makes his first Premier League start. Disasi in for the injured Gusto. So it's Sanchez in goal. Disasi, Fofana, Colwell and Cucurella. Caicedo and Vega. Madueke, Palmer and Neto behind Jackson up front. Well, these are tight confines in the Vitality Stadium, but you're nice and close to the pitch wherever you are here at Bournemouth, as both sets of players stand astride the edges of the centre circle, and both will go into huddles before kick-off. Chelsea in their change kit of off-white with blue and orange trim, and Bournemouth in the familiar red and black striped shirts, black shorts and red and black socks. Real belief tonight, Scott Minto, about the Bournemouth team, and of course we know what Chelsea are capable of going forward in particular.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great atmosphere here. There is something about an evening kickoff, isn't it? And perhaps even more so on a Saturday night. You know, the atmosphere is brilliant. Bournemouth will look at Chelsea as perhaps an inconsistent side. Chelsea will look at Bournemouth as a place where they can really go for it and get all 3 points. Fascinating game ahead.
We started game day on the south coast and we'll finish it here. The Vitality might be the smallest stadium in the Premier League, but teams do not enjoy coming here these days. We know that Chelsea are capable of brilliance when they click, but it's an interesting test this for Enzo Maresca after a fantastic day of football up and down the Premier League. The referee tonight, Anthony Taylor, looks towards the near side touchline, glances back at his watch. Chelsea from right to left get the game off and underway. No, they don't. It's a false start at the second time of asking. Chelsea do kick us off beneath the lights here on the south coast, and Bournemouth are playing from left to right in the first half towards the Teg McDougall end of the ground, a stadium that holds just over 11,000, and there are Bournemouth fans on all 4 sides of it. About 1,300 Chelsea supporters in the east stand on the far side of the field. Fofana slides in, and now here's Caicedo on the halfway line for Chelsea. Looks early through the middle towards Jackson, when intercepted by the Ukrainian Zabarnyi. Coming out of defence, his pass is a little heavy. Caicedo there to make a good interception on the halfway line, but then it's won back by Christie on the slide for Bournemouth. Semenyo can tear forward, back out wide to Christie. He can drag it back across. Cucurella in the way, and out of play for a corner to Bournemouth inside the first 45 seconds, Scott Minter.
Do you know what? I think we're going to see this game going back and forth. It's going to be like a basketball match, a tennis match, and both these teams very good and very quick on the counter. You can see the way Semenyo went there, and Ryan Christie overlapping, you know, getting down there, and it's a poor cross coming in. Good defending in the end from Cucurella, but Bournemouth very much wanting to be on the front foot.
Chelsea all in that off-white have brought everybody back to defend this early corner. It'll be taken by Marcus Tavernier. Bournemouth unbeaten in the Premier League so far this season. Tavernier will take it left-footed and in-swinging. Bournemouth fans packed behind the goal, and there's a Bournemouth player down. It's Senesi inside the penalty area with the bright blue boots on, tangling with Cucurella, and Anthony Taylor's going to call both players over to have a word on the edge of that 6-yard box. And already early pressure on a Chelsea side that has struggled from set plays so far this season, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's something which, I mean, Senesi's got 4 or 5 inches on Cucurella, hasn't he? So if they can have that battle, then Bournemouth should win it.
Whipped in by Tavernier to the near post. Good header away by Caicedo. It'll drop at the back stick, and Kluivert, who tees it wide left to Kerkez. Kerkez with the first time cross, charged down by Pedro Neto, and the flag is up on the near side of the field anyway, that checkered yellow and orange flag, and it'll be a free kick to Chelsea. 2 minutes played live on Talk Sport. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. What a day in the Premier League, including Nottingham Forest winning at Anfield for the first time since 1969. Callum Hudson-Odoi, a former Chelsea player, with the only goal of the game. Manchester City 2-1 winners over Brentford. Manchester United won at Southampton comfortably by 3-0 live on TalkSport earlier this lunchtime. Crystal Palace came from 2-0 down to draw with Leicester. Fulham 1, West Ham 1, Brighton 0, Ipswich 0. And what a victory from 2-0 down for Aston Villa, 3-2 against Everton, as Everton blow a lead once again, just as they did against Bournemouth before the international break. All the reaction to this evening and this afternoon's football starts tomorrow morning on TalkSport Breakfast, weekend sports breakfast from 6 o'clock with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. A throw on the far side to Chelsea. Disasi will take it in the right back position. The game just settling down after that early Bournemouth flurry. Back it goes to Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, all in bright orange. Looks to clear high to the halfway line. The initial header away by Kirkes. It's teed forward by Cucurella towards Palmer, sent skywards up into that dark night sky by Senesi, and then there's a right battle going on between Colwill and the club record signing Evan Nielsen, and Bournemouth have got it back. Tavernier 25 yards out, hits the top of the crossbar with a stunning rasping drive that had Sanchez beaten, all ends up, hit the woodwork and cannoned away to safety. 0-0.
Well, first of all, Vega's got to do much better there. He's just kicked out at it. Ball fell to Tavernier. What a strike that is. 25 yards out. It's curl, it's dip, it's beaten Sanchez, who's diving but still nowhere near it. And it dips, but not quite enough for Bournemouth.
Well, the John Duran winner for Aston Villa against Everton this evening was something pretty special. That wouldn't have been far behind had Tavernier found the back of the net. Sanchez flying through the air to try and keep it out. He got nowhere near it, and he's very fortunate that it's still 0-0. Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth have made a very good start. Here's Semenyo on the near side, the right, down by the dead ball line. He's one-on-one with Cucurella, who's backing off now. Semenyo tears into the penalty area. Good challenge by Cucurella. It's come back to Christie, 30 yards out, dinks it in. Too long for Kluivert. That'll go behind for a goal kick to Chelsea. Lovely football from Bournemouth, the kind of free-flowing play that we've become used to seeing under Andoni Iraola.
Yeah, I talked about them wanting to be on the front foot, and that's exactly what happens. Great ball over the top. And Semenyo against Cucurella, he gets him in the box, and I can tell you as a fullback, you don't want to be making the challenge, because if you just mistime it, it's a penalty. But actually, it was a good tackle from Cucurella. Despite that, Bournemouth still all over Chelsea and very nearly creating the first goal.
Chelsea have barely got the ball out of their own half in the first 5 minutes of the game. And Tavernier with a thunderous strike that really tested the frame of the goal. He scored here in the draw against Newcastle, that controversial draw did Tavernier. Vega for Chelsea, first Premier League start tonight for Renato Vega, the 21-year-old. He's seen Caicedo, his partner in the holding midfield role, fouled, and Chelsea take the free kick. Vega with a good ball out to the near side, the left, and Pedro Neto. Little 1-2 between him and Cucurella. Cucurella's dink over the halfway line has far too much on it. He waves his arm in apology, does the Spaniard Cucurella with the curly hair, given away by Bournemouth. It drops down to Madueke, edge of the box, twist, turns onto his right foot, low shot, he's going to drag it wide. Now, did that take a deflection off Kirkes? It did, and Chelsea win themselves a corner. The pace and the energy, the vigour in the game so far, Scott Minto. Well, if they can keep it up for 90 minutes, we'll have some game tonight.
Absolutely. And I can imagine all 5 subs from both sides being made as well, but this time it was Bournemouth being sloppy. And Madueke, can see he's just got that little extra bit of confidence in how he's played the last few weeks, especially for his country as well. And well, he cut inside, but his shot was deflected in the end. Now it's Chelsea's turn for a set piece.
Cole Palmer, 4 assists already this season, outswinging delivery. For once his delivery is really poor, headed away by the first man, the diving Evan Nielsen. Palmer takes the resulting throw quickly, and Cucurella goes back to the halfway line where Sanchez, the goalkeeper, is waiting. Sanchez with a little ball forward towards Caicedo, who plays it back to the goalkeeper. Kepa watching from the stands tonight, now ineligible to face his parent club. He's on loan at Bournemouth, of course. And it is interesting, that early season stat. Mark Travers tonight making his first appearance in goal of the new campaign, the 3rd different goalkeeper that Bournemouth have used already this season. Remember, they had Neto in goal in the first couple of matches before his move to Arsenal. Given away by Chelsea. Flick forward down the left-hand side to Tavernier for Bournemouth. He loops it across. Evan Nielsen with a glancing header. He couldn't get enough behind it. I think that had gone out of play by the time Vega made the clearance. It's a goal kick to Chelsea. Nielsen is desperately going in search of his first Bournemouth goal, and he wasn't too far away from it then.
Well, again, this time it was Chelsea. Fofana giving the ball away. You can't play that kind of inside ball if it's just not on, because Bournemouth won it back and suddenly they're on the attack. It was a good ball looped in. Robert Sanchez not able to come out. And Ivan Nielsen, I have to say, Colwell did really well there, because although he didn't win the header, he made sure that Ivan Nielsen didn't get enough on his header. It was only 6 yards out. A big threat already, Bournemouth.
Glancing header and not enough to turn it towards the target. Antonio Areola has said that they've had a good opportunity over the international break to speak to Ivan Nielsen and impart more of what Bournemouth want to do with their new number 9, a club record, a £40 million signing from Porto over the summer. Breathless first 8 minutes, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 live on TalkSport. We've got the return of the Champions League for you, a new format, a new season. That all gets underway on Tuesday night. We'll have Aston Villa, Liverpool, Manchester City and Arsenal in action across Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And then we've got League Cup football for you as well, with Manchester United against Barnsley and Coventry against Tottenham, both live on TalkSport 2 next week. Best way to be across all of the live football as ever. We've got 450 live games this season, is to download our free app. Here's Fofana for Chelsea.
Just the 450, yeah?
Just the 450. Would you believe it? Here is Colwell, knocking the ball up the inside left channel. Chasing is Jackson. Good goalkeeping. Travers very quickly off his line. The goalkeeper all in blue to spread himself at the feet of Jackson and beat him to the ball. And now Cook will pump a long pass downfield. Out comes Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, to collect on the edge of his box.
Yeah, it was a good ball actually for Nicholas Jackson. It was very nearly in. Not seen anything of him really so far, nor Pedro Neto on the left-hand side. I want to try and get them more involved from a Chelsea point of view. But you always know if Bournemouth are going to push up and they lose the ball, that ball in behind, because of his pace, Jackson will always be in.
Mixed picture as so far for Chelsea this season in the Premier League. The opening weekend defeat to Manchester City, the spectacular 6-goal win, a 6-2 win at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then held to a frustrating draw by Crystal Palace before the international break, in a game that Enzo Maresca certainly felt they should have won. Clearance by Fofana, finally back from injury this season, up to the halfway line. Bournemouth win it back with Zabani, who's got his socks rolled almost all the way down to his ankles. Oh, it must be the smallest shin pads in the Premier League today, Scott.
You've normally got to be some player like an attacking midfielder or
yes.
striker to go like
You don't see centre-halves do that.
Not your big centre-half.
Header by Cucurella, brave header in the left-back position, in the 50-50 duel with Semenyo, and then Caicedo gets the better of Tavernier, tries to put Jackson through the middle straight away. Clearance by Senesi out of play for a throw. That early ball through the middle to Jackson looks on time and time again, Scott.
Absolutely, that's the one they're looking for. It's the first one that as they look up, once they win the ball back, is Jackson looking to go in behind? Can they play him? And actually, it was really good play from Senesi, reading the situation, covering his centre-half partner. Otherwise Jackson would have been in. Two opportunities where Chelsea, and Jackson in particular, almost in.
0-0 the score live on TalkSport. We're only about 10-12 rows from the edge of the pitch here, just to the right of the halfway line at the Vitality Stadium. Chelsea playing from right to left in the first half. The away team in possession with Colwell out to the left-hand side, and Pedro Neto, Chelsea's new number 7, on the outside of Smith, whips in a left-footed cross into the near post, cleared away. Thumping clearance on the volley by Senesi, and then a miscue by Christie, the Scotland international. Back from Vega for Chelsea to the feet of Disasi. Tidy so far. Vega 11 minutes into his full Premier League debut. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall out injured, due to illness, just like Enzo Fernandez, neither in the squad tonight for Chelsea. As Colwell hoists a high ball down the near side, the left. Semenyo lets it run across his body, doing his defensive work diligently there, Antoine Semenyo. That's not a good clearance though, high up into the air, not very far away from danger. Eventually Senesi with a good header towards the halfway line. Chelsea trying to win it back quickly and efficiently, but they can't do that. Then the ball is scooped up into the air, an ugly ball forward by Vega, and a little cushion header down, calm and poised by Cook, out to the left, and Tavernier, who's easily outpaced Vega. On the far side, the left for Bournemouth. He checks back in field to find Christie. Still the pace of the game high. Semenyo with a low shot, about 2 or 3 yards wide of Sanchez's right-hand post.
He's such a threat, isn't he? And not just down the wings with his pace. He's able to come inside and just find a pocket of space where he can take the touch and have a shot. He's 25 yards out, right in front of goal, centre of it, and he had Robert Sanchez scrambling.
2 goals in 3 Premier League appearances so far this season. Antoine Semenyo, he was a scorer in the 3-2 win at Everton before the international break. They were 2-0 down after 87 minutes. It was the latest a team has ever been 2 goals down in a Premier League game before going on to win. Incredible to think Everton have blown another 2-0 lead this evening in defeat at Villa Park, Scott.
The problem is, Joe, if they go 2-0 up again, they need to go 3-0 up to think we've got a chance of winning this.
Well, confidence is clearly so fragile, isn't it, for that Everton team?
And that's not good at this early stage of the season, although they have started the last few seasons really poorly. And you would say, despite there being a lot of people criticising Sean Dyche and some of his team selections and substitutions or lack of, you know, still, if someone was going to get sacked, you'd want a Sean Dyche in there, wouldn't you?
Well, there have been some strange results or strange matches today, and not least at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. That is the shock result of the season so far. And of course, a reaction continues across the rest of the weekend on a weekend sports breakfast tomorrow from 6. Sam Matterface with the Sunday session for you tomorrow afternoon. All the goals as they go in, including the North London derby. That's a foul in the middle of the Chelsea half by the retreating Evan Nielsen. And Chelsea have a free kick in their right back position. Now Palmer, arms outstretched, is complaining to the referee Anthony Taylor. 0-0 here.
Yeah, it's another fantastic day in the Premier League, although really could have done with Brentford, you know, scoring another goal. I know they went 22 seconds to 23 seconds, 1-0 up, and had a couple of great chances after that. But City being City, that's a really important win with the North London derby, and Liverpool losing as well.
A long ball downfield by Sanchez. It's swinging away from the Chelsea goalkeeper out towards the left, and Pedro Neto, and a one-on-one with Adam Smith. Such a diligent performer for AFC Bournemouth over the years, and Smith with a good clearance up towards the halfway line. Signed a new 1-year extension this week. He's had his second spell last over 10.5 years now. Adam Smith, that second spell at Bournemouth. Now Disasi on the opposite side of the field, the Chelsea right the far side, looking to dart infield and find the New England international Noni Madueke. He's been felled by Tavernier, and that'll be a Chelsea free kick about 5-6 yards into Bournemouth territory. Very exciting performances over the international break from Madueke.
Yeah, absolutely, he was superb. But I just want to touch on Adam Smith, who has been a fantastic professional for Bournemouth. But if I were Pedro Neto, or if I were Enzo Maresca, I'd be saying you get the ball out wide as much as you possibly can, because one-on-one he should be going past him 7 or 8 times out of 10.
33 now, Adam Smith, 380th Bournemouth appearance today. Colwill wide left to Neto, infield to Cucurella with his back to goal, feeds Neto on the corner of the penalty area, sliding challenge by Smith, who just about got enough to the ball, but Zabani had to put it behind for a Chelsea corner, their second corner of the game so far. Chelsea, after a relatively slow start in the opening few minutes, seem to have settled into the contest nicely, and it's simmering away here down on the south coast. Temperatures have dropped since the sun set. That was a long time ago. Corner taken short to Palmer. Now Cucurella on the edge of the 18-yard area, back out wide to Pedro Neto. Time to whip in the left-footed cross. Up go the heads of the back post. Nobody in a Chelsea shirt could get to it. Vega and Fofana were challenging. Now with Madueke, right corner of the penalty area. Left-footed curler. He's got too much scoop behind that, far too much. And has that gone out of play for a throw? Well, I think it has. There might have been a foul on Kirkes anyway. Either way, there's no danger to the Bournemouth goal.
Yeah, he's rubbish, that Noni Madueke, isn't he? Having a shot, can't even get it anywhere near the goal. It goes off for a throw-in. No, I mean, actually there was a little bobble, and he's tried to strike it. But I think he's superb. I saw a lot of him in pre-season, and he looked like he was ready to really grasp the nettle and be a Chelsea first teamer. And yet he didn't start the game against City, and he didn't start the game against Servette, where there are a lot of changes. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what's going on here? But boy, did he come on the scene again against Wolves, didn't he? And just playing for your country, making that first cap, and then also the assist. They'll give him a lot of confidence.
Cook surges over the halfway line, and the ball has dropped to Tavernier. Left-hand edge of the area. Low shot gathered by Sanchez. Tavernier's pace is absolutely electric. He darted away from Disasi like he wasn't there. That already looks like a problem area in this game for Chelsea. And Tavernier, left-hand edge of the penalty area, maybe the angle was slightly against him. I think it was, as Fofana came across and Sanchez able to make a simple save. 0-0.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been beaten from there, Sanchez, and of course he wasn't. But absolutely, we've talked about Semenyo, but Tavernier is a threat. Disasi should have done better. The ball kind of went in between his legs almost, the pass, and therefore he was off balance, which gave Tavernier the chance to get that extra half a yard in front. Fofana came across, and it would have been some strike to have beaten Sanchez in there. But again, it shows the threat of Bournemouth on both wings.
Both managers standing on the edge of their respective technical areas as Cole Palmer is fouled, and there's a yellow card out of the pocket of the referee this time, I think, for Christie, who makes his protestations to Anthony Taylor, but that's not going to change the decision. Christie, the first player in the game to be booked. Enzo Maresca stands on the edge of his technical area, the Chelsea head coach in a big blue puffer jacket, and about 10 yards to his left, Andoni Iraola, the affable and thoughtful Bournemouth head coach, who has maybe gone under the radar somewhat. He was nominated for Premier League Manager of the Year last season, but I think some on the South Coast feel that he still doesn't quite get the credit that he deserves for what he's achieved at the club so far. Still Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. 18.5 minutes gone, and here's Scott Minter.
No, I think he does. He should do. I mean, the start he had last season, and don't forget, after Bournemouth getting rid of Gary O'Neill and the great job that he did, and I believe he could have taken Bournemouth on as well, but still it just added more pressure on the new manager coming in, and the start they had as well, where they only got 3 points in the first 9 matches. You know, there must have been that thought pattern in the board of, oh dear, what have we done? But you know, I've spoken to someone at the club, and let me tell you, he was the same throughout that bad period.
Here comes Vega striding forward for Chelsea from the edge of the centre circle. He's nudged it wide with the outside of his foot to find Neto. Corner of the penalty area, back infield to Vega with his back to goal. Cucurella holds up play, infield to Caicedo, 30 yards out. Chelsea trying to move the ball quickly, but Disasi on the slide just about keeps it in play. On the far side, the Chelsea right. Bournemouth in red and black with everybody back behind the ball. Fofana, corner of the penalty area, finds Palmer. Little touch to Madueke, back to Palmer, beaten to it by the slide of Kirkes. It's come back to Wesley Fofana in the area. Now Noni Madueke with the low shot, cleared only as far as Palmer. Kirkes gets there in front of Madueke to hack it clear. Otherwise, the England man might have had a tap-in. Stays 0-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, if this stays 0-0 from now to the end of the game, we'll still be talking about a fantastic football match, because both sides have had chances, and Chelsea will certainly feel that they should have created a shot on target at least. You know, between Fofana, Madueke and Cole Palmer, in the end it was good defending from Bournemouth, but now Chelsea are getting more and more on the ball and creating much more danger than they were in the first part of the game.
You can hear the Chelsea fans who are on their feet on the far side of the field. You can see some royal blue shirts on show. They're in the change kit tonight, Chelsea, as Palmer is beaten to the ball on the halfway line by the Evertonacious Cook. Another name that is so familiar to this Bournemouth team. Tavernier jinks beyond 2 in Chelsea white, and now he's whipped it an early ball left-footed, and it's gathered by Sanchez into his chest inside the 6-yard box. And Disasi is going to need the help and support of Madueke tonight. It doesn't look at the moment that he's capable of dealing with Tavernier on his own. Evan Nielsen back to goal, lays it off to the right, and Semenyo, corner of the penalty area, 50-50 challenge with Cucurella, who came across. I think the reaction of Semenyo, despite the appeals, told you all you needed to know. He just got up and got on with it fairly quickly.
Yeah, never a pen, just gets his arm up, Cucurella, and actually showed some great strength. Semenyo needs to go to the gym, and I wouldn't have thought that between those two.
Given away by Jackson, careless, straight to Cook, knocks it through the middle, good interception by Fofana before the ball can reach Evan Nielsen. You get the sense a goal isn't far away. Live on Talk Sport as we tick towards the midway point of the first half. It's still Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Bournemouth have possession back. Tavernier, one little glancing touch to take it over the halfway line. Now he finds Kirkes on the overlap. Kirkes with the cross in towards Christie, headed away by Levi Colwill. Now it's dropped down to Pedro Neto. He can't bring it under control. Miscued pass through the middle by Clive, and then Disasi just hammers it up into the air. Well, he's lucky it's reached Jackson on the halfway line. That was very clumsy looking from Disasi on what is his first Premier League appearance of the season so far, and Bournemouth have possession again.
Yeah, and I think it shows that perhaps he's a little bit nervous. He realises who he's up against in a one-on-one situation. Tavernier already showing his pace, but still the ball fell down to Jackson, and you know, he's about 6'4" and should be using his strength there, and he didn't. I were Enzo Maresca, I'd say, come on.
Miscommunication, Disasi and Fofana, Tavernier's cross, Evan Nielsen is there, Kluivert is there! Good save down low by the goalkeeper. Evan Nielsen's offside on the dead ball line, and the flag belatedly does go up. Chelsea in a mess. On the right side of their defence in particular, Disasi and Fofana simply didn't talk. Tavernier had the freedom of the left wing, early ball then only half cleared. Kluivert's snapshot, well saved by Sanchez to keep it 0-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, Disasi is really struggling against Tavernier. You know, he plays it over Disasi, and Disasi's looking at Fofana as if, like, come and help me out. Well, yeah, perhaps you should have done, but how about you defend yourself, one-on-one situation? And he hasn't done that. At this moment in time, we've talked about Semenyo and how good he's been this season. But Tavernier looks the most dangerous player on the pitch, not just for Bournemouth.
Really playing with a lot of confidence, this Bournemouth side. They were knocked out of the League Cup by West Ham, but unbeaten in their 3 games in the Premier League. They've never gone 4 games at the start of a top-flight season unbeaten. Lewis Cook from range. Low shot straight to the goalkeeper. One bounce and well handled by Sanchez, because the pitch is certainly not perfect. It is cutting up in places, and of course the 6-yard box is always potentially vulnerable to that. But Sanchez has been worked a couple of times already in the first 24 minutes. 0-0.
Faye and I were talking about the music from the 90s, Joe. You clearly don't remember the pitches from the 90s either. This is like Wembley compared to how it was back then. But no, you're right, there's a little bit of a bobble here as well. So the fact is, Lewis Cook had that shot. It bounced just before Robert Sanchez, which is a goalkeeper's nightmare, but he did very well and held on to it.
Cucurella has been fouled in a sort of inverted midfield possession where he was caught by Smith, and it's a free kick to Chelsea just over the halfway line. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contracts on Now, like Tottenham against Arsenal, Wolves against Newcastle. Live tomorrow, search Now Sports. We'll have the Sunday session taking you around the grounds tomorrow on TalkSport. On TalkSport 2, an intriguing game from the Championship. Scott and I will be at Fratton Park for Portsmouth against unbeaten West Brom, who will go top of the Championship tomorrow afternoon if they win. Portsmouth still looking for their first victory of the new league season. That's on TalkSport 2 tomorrow. And then Birmingham against Wrexham on Monday night, also on TalkSport 2. That's in League One. Colwell near side the left for Chelsea, beaten to it by Semenyo, who slid in firm but fair to win it back. And then Colwell and Cucurella not happy with the referee as the free kick goes Bournemouth's way. And Bournemouth showing that not only are they pleasing on the eye in terms of the play going forward and the interplay when they're on the ball, but they can do the tough tackling and the dirty work as well, Scott.
Absolutely, and that's what Semenyo did. I actually didn't think it was a foul either way, but I thought the referee was going to give a foul to Chelsea, which it wouldn't have been.
It was a risky ploy by Caicedo to let the ball run across his body with Christian such close attention. He squeezed it wide to the right back position, and Disasi. Good ball forward from Disasi, the Frenchman, to the halfway line, and Palmer. Madueke slowed the play. Chelsea have possession again. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 under the floodlit skies now at the Vitality Stadium. It's a little chilly, but not too bad. Fofana 10 yards shy of the halfway line.
You know, producer Deck brought his thermals.
I know, yes. First thing he told me when we got out of the car, when it was about 22 degrees or something like that.
I did look at him. He might be getting them on now, though, I don't know.
It's getting colder. Here is Fofana.
He's nodding as if he's got them on.
Back he goes to Sanchez.
No, shaking his head. And
0-0 the score. And the latest odds are with Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now, Bournemouth 23-10 to win, Chelsea 11-10 to win, the draw at 12-5. That's all thanks to Betfair, who are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. A rare lull in play in the context of an exciting first 26.5 minutes. Palmer trying to pirouette away from Lewis Cook, number 4, who scored a very rare goal away at Everton before the international break. His first ever in the Premier League it was, Lewis Cook.
Yeah, an even rarer header.
Yes, I wouldn't have expected that.
He didn't. You see the way he ran off, pointing at his head.
Madueke on the halfway line for Chelsea. Back to Disasi, now square to Wesley Fofana. Fofana midway inside his own half of the field. Back it goes to Sanchez. The Chelsea fans are chanting away on the far side of the field. These are difficult times for Chelsea at boardroom level, of course. They're Seems to be a split between Todd Bowley and Bedat Iqbali's Clear Lake group. Reportedly, both parties want to buy each other out, and you feel until that's resolved, it might be hard for Chelsea to make a lot of tangible progress.
Joe, we could talk for hours about that, but that does not bode well. You know, they're meant to have this cunning plan, and yet it looks like at the very top they're now split and not happy with it, so it needs to be sorted for sure.
Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 here tonight. Clearance by Travers, all in blue, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, headed by Semenyo, facing his own goal, and then Caicedo jumps in front of Evan-Nielsen to send the ball spinning high up in the air to Colwill with a little cushion back headed to the feet of Sanchez.
From Chelsea's point of view, I mean, I think Bournemouth have been slightly the better side, and they'll be happier with how the game's gone. You know, I'm not seeing enough of Chelsea going forward, the wide players, Cole Palmer getting on the ball, Nicholas Jackson being involved, but that comes from the two holding midfielders. You know, we talked about Renato Vega coming in and his first Premier League start. It's looking like that at the moment.
Lovely dummy though by Cole Palmer, and Noni Madueke with an electric turn of pace to race ball to the edge of the penalty area and slip it through to Jackson. Oh my goodness, what a good tackle that was by Senesi sliding back. I think the flag is up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, but fantastic build-up play, fleet of foot from back to front for Chelsea. Palmer finding Madueke, he must have darted forward 40-50 yards, and then when Jackson was played in, Senesi made a great recovery tackle, but as I say, I don't think it would have counted anyway, Scott.
Well, I'll tell you what, that would have been tight. I think I definitely would have gone to VAR if it had gone in. I think it was Adam Smith who was on the other side, where it can look like for the referee's assistant that Jackson's offside. But that's what I'm talking about, that kind of quick transition. That's what you need to do, get the Chelsea attacking players much more involved. Not able to do that at the moment, and it's Bournemouth who are dictating the tempo.
Good footwork and a positive pass by Christie out to the left wing and Tavernier, and the ball is poor this time from Tavernier on that favoured left foot. Clatters it straight into the gloves of the grateful Sanchez, and that was with Semenyo, Evan-Nielsen and Kluivert, all waiting for what they would have expected to be a much better cross into the penalty area. Disasi miscontrols in the right back position, and the ball goes out of play for a Bournemouth throw in a very attacking area.
It's coming from the Bournemouth press, but there's no doubt about it, Disasi's worried about who he's up against, and you can see it's almost like a hot potato. He's not wanting it, he's playing one-touch football, or he's just knocking it long.
Good ball forward by Caicedo up to the halfway line, and Jackson. Bournemouth look quite open here. Jackson tries to get onto the return ball down the middle from Cole Palmer. Palmer frustrated with himself because it was all too easily telegraphed, and Zabani was there to roll it back to his goalkeeper, who thumps the clearance high downfield. That's a foul on Evan-Nielsen by Fofana, and that's a yellow card for the Chelsea centre-half, midway inside his own half of the field.
Well, just on the pass there from Cole Palmer, he's much better than that. All he needed to do was just play it in behind, into the space for Jackson to run onto, and he didn't. Another missed opportunity. And here, with Fofana, look, he does catch Evan-Nielsen in the face with his arm, but it's one of those where they're grappling together. They're trying to get in front of each other, and I think that's harsh. You can give a foul, but yes, he's caught him in the face, but I don't think that's intentional. I don't think it's a deserved yellow card.
Still 0-0 after half an hour, which might have surprised some, given the goal-scoring records of these two sides. 46 in their last 18 in the Premier League for Chelsea. Bournemouth have only failed to score in one of their last 16 Premier League games. There's still plenty of time.
So it's 0-0
for the deadlock to be broken. Dink forward by Cook from the free kick. He's tried to play it high towards the near post, where Zabani, easily the tallest player in that part of the pitch, was trying to leap and get amongst it, but it was overhit, that little chip from Lewis Cook, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick to Chelsea. Away to the right at the Ted McDougall end, with a couple of pillars behind that goal. Bournemouth do have ambitious plans for a new stadium. Oh, given away by Sanchez, nearly won back by Christie on the edge of the box. What a good tackle on the slide that was by Caicedo. Chelsea playing out of defence, and it very nearly cost them. They've got the ball though over the halfway line with Pedro Neto. He's tearing up the right with purpose. Now Madueke takes over, jinks in field onto that left foot, back to Palmer, plays slowed down as Bournemouth get red and black striped shirts back behind the ball. It was a very risky pass forward from his own 6-yard box by the goalkeeper Sanchez. It's a feature of the game that Enzo Maresca wants to play. Saw plenty of that in the Championship last season, where he was so successful with Leicester, who conceded 2 goals from 2-0 up, including an injury time penalty to draw at Crystal Palace earlier today. And Manchester United 3-0 winners at Southampton, live on TalkSport. Man City 2, Brentford 1, Liverpool lost at home to Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa came from 2-0 down to beat Everton 3-2. Fulham 1, West Ham 1, Brighton 0, Ipswich 0, the other scores in the Premier League. In the Championship, the leaders Sunderland had lost for the first time this season at Plymouth. Leeds 0, Burnley 1 was our TalkSport 2 commentary game. The League One leaders Wrexham, they go to Birmingham on Monday night, live on TalkSport 2. That will be some game. Header away by Smith from the right back position for Bournemouth, out of play for a Chelsea throw, Scott.
Yeah, look, we've seen, we talk about sort of beating the press, and the goalkeeper's almost becoming like a sort of like a holding midfielder. We've seen it twice now, one from each, Travers and Sanchez, just knocking it long. And Sanchez one knocking it long was just after, as you rightly said, almost gave the ball away, and he's capable of that. I'm wondering when Philip Jorgensen is actually going to get in this Chelsea side.
Here comes Tavernier, darting infield from the left-hand side. He's played it into a central area, cleared away by Cucurella before the ball could reach Kluivert, but Kluivert, with his energy, trying to hustle back and win it back on the halfway line. In the end, he's crowded out, and Chelsea have possession. Colwill strides over the halfway line purposefully. Bournemouth are backing off here, and Colwill has reached the midway point of opposition territory. Through to Jackson, saved by Travers with his legs. Jackson with a snapshot, first time left-footed, beaten away by Travers. First serious save he's had to make tonight.
Yeah, and spot on, Joe, because it's exactly what Bournemouth did. They just dropped off, allowed Colwill to run 40, 50 yards and then just play a simple ball in behind for Nicholas Jackson, who he's hit the target, but he's got to get the corners. It's on his left foot, but what a wonderful opportunity that was for Chelsea, the best so far for them.
And Jackson, with his scoring start to the season, might have expected better. Another yellow card out of the pocket of Anthony Taylor, this time for Lewis Cook. Another foul on Cole Palmer. The Bournemouth fans in the East Stand on the far side are out of their seats, some of them to protest, but it's not going to change the decision of the referee. Seeing it again on our little monitor in the commentary position, it looks a bit harsh, a yellow card.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a foul, and he kind of grabs onto him, but not enough for a yellow card. But obviously Anthony Taylor wants to be quite consistent with his yellows.
Cucurella, left-hand edge of the penalty area, going away from goal. Little shove from Zabarnyi. And Chelsea and Colwill in particular screaming at the fourth official that that should have been a free kick, and Enzo Maresca returns to Sam Addison, who's the fourth official, standing in between the two dugouts. But again, nothing will alter the decision that's already been made. Now Evan Nielsen tracking back deep inside his own half, and the throw goes Bournemouth's way, and once more they're upset with the referee. Now it's Caicedo's turn to have a word, and that's one complaint too many, it looks like, for Cucurella, who's been booked. Dissent, and Anthony Taylor says that he's had enough of that, and suddenly the yellow cards are starting to rack up. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, 9.5 minutes of the first half remaining on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs, and Chelsea have got to be careful here, Scott Minto, your former club, that they don't lose any composure.
No, look, I'm watching a replay of it, and Cucurella has a really good challenge with Evan Nielsen. They smile at each other, he walks off. Not quite sure what that yellow card was for.
Back pass for Fofana. Evan Nielsen is in, locked off by Sanchez. The referee says penalty, and will it be a red card for Sanchez too? The card is yellow. It's a Bournemouth penalty. Sanchez on Evan Nielsen after the risky back pass from Fofana. I don't know whether Sanchez could have done that much to get out of the way. Of course, the video assistant referee will definitely check it, but the on-field decision of Anthony Taylor is a penalty kick and a yellow card for the goalkeeper Sanchez.
Yes, and this season with the referee's call, as they call it, it's going to have to be a clear and obvious error. Again, it's just a really poor pass back. Evan Nielsen reads it so well. And Sanchez comes out, he doesn't even really try to make an effort for it, because he realises Evan Nielsen is coming and going to get there first. And look, I think that's the right decision for me. Yellow card, because Evan Nielsen gets there first, he thinks it over Sanchez. Sanchez already has his arms out, and then Evan Nielsen, because of his momentum, has gone into the keeper.
So Evan Nielsen won it,
First of all, I've got to say, great play for Evan-Nielsen. I mean, it's a really poor back pass, and you have to make sure if you're going to do that. Don't go short. So well done from the new striker from Bournemouth.
Chelsea have looked nervy defensively at times, and Evan-Nielsen, the Brazilian, £40 million signing, takes a big deep breath. He's their new number 9, the man who's taken up the potential goal-scoring mantle from Dominic Solanke. He's 12 yards out, ready to take the penalty against Sanchez, who gave it away. It looks like it's going to be a straight run up from the edge of the penalty area. Evan-Nielsen, big deep breath, hands on hips. Can he get his first Bournemouth goal here? Here he goes, right-footed, saved by Sanchez, turns it away, diving to his left-hand side. Sanchez conceded the penalty, but he saved it, and it's a corner.
That's a brilliant save. Absolutely fantastic save. I mean, I think he is about 6'6", 6'7". So if he goes the right way, it's going to have to be in the corner, and it wasn't. It wasn't a bad penalty. But with Sanchez, with him being so tall, you've got to make sure you put it the other side of the way he dives.
Still 0-0. Tavernier's corner into the near post, headed away, comes out to Kirkes through a crowd. Good block by Colwill, important block as well. Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea hero so far tonight, keeps the score at 0-0. Live on Talk Sport, plunging save, diving to his left-hand side to turn it away one-handed. It wasn't the most confident of penalties from Evan-Nielsen. Stuttering start early on to his Bournemouth career. Header away by Caicedo for Chelsea. Now can they break over the halfway line? No, they can't. Tavernier makes an interception in front of Renato Vega to thread it back to Travers. He has had his critic Sanchez this season as well. To think about the opening weekend of the Premier League campaign, that second Manchester City goal, but he's kept one out, that's for sure there, Scott Minter.
No, he has. I don't think he's brilliant on the ball either. And that's something which Enzo Maresca, we know he wants his goalkeepers to almost be like midfielders, but that is a really important save.
Fofana's given it away again. Wide from Christie to the near side, the right, and Semenyo. We're in the 40th minute. Bournemouth have missed a penalty now. They hit the bar early on through Tavernier. They're getting closer and closer. Tavernier inside right channel, sprinting to keep it in play. All left foot here, Tavernier up against Cucurella, tries the back heel. Now did that hit Tavernier, a double deflection? I think it did. And Tavernier picks the ball up as if he thinks it's his throw. Cucurella, furious, wants to wrestle it back off him. Assistant referee has to step in between them to calm things down, and the Bournemouth fans are out of their seats around us here in the commentary position, saying that Cucurella needs to go back a couple of yards to take the throw really where it should be taken from. And Pedro Neto's clearance isn't a great one. Chelsea lose possession carelessly again.
On the back foot now, Chelsea, aren't they? Bournemouth very much on the front foot. Yes, it's a missed penalty, but just in the last couple of minutes they've started to take control, and they'll probably be disappointed. Well, they will, of course, with a missed penalty, be disappointed if they don't go 1-0 up at half-time. For Chelsea, it's almost a question of, look, need to get this 0-0 half-time and try and sort it out. Not seen enough of the attacking players.
Christie, nutmeg Vega, blocked off by Cucurella. Play on, says the referee. Jackson over the halfway line, looks to thread it forward towards Madueke. He can't get there, beaten to it by Kirkes, coming across from left into the centre of the field from that left-back position on the far side, and Bournemouth have regained the ball. Senesi turned a little awkwardly to roll it back to Travers, who then just blasts it downfield aimlessly. And it's straight through to goalkeeper Sanchez again. Bournemouth would go fourth with a victory tonight, and they will feel they should be in front. Remarkable to think that potentially by the end of the night, both Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest could be unbeaten after 4 matches of the season. Semenyo, inside right channel, taking on Cucurella, who's blocked him off. He's wrestled himself away from Vega's Semenyo. He can't turn beyond Caicedo, though. Caicedo starting to launch a counter-attack. He's carried the ball over the halfway line. He's racing down the middle. He's threaded it left to Jackson. 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Jackson holds the play up and goes backwards to Vega. That's taken a bit of the sting out of that immediate fast break upfield for Chelsea. 42nd minute, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 it remains. Vega pirouettes on the ball on the halfway line, back to Colwill from the centre circle now. Angle pass out to the near side, and Neto, who's got Smith backing off, but Smith gets the better of it, as he has done on most occasions tonight, I think you'd have to say.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen a real one-on-one situation, and Adam Smith did really well there, but Pedro Neto, come on. you know, you've got to be thinking that one-on-one situation, going past him more often than not. So get the ball out wide to him.
Jackson's got his back to goal. He's got Zabani at close attention. Jackson on the far side, the right wing now, has to go back to Palmer, who hasn't had much influence on the game. That's a foul by Cook, who's got to be careful. He has already been booked in the game, Cook, and it was a shove on Palmer on the far side. Muted appeals from some of the Chelsea fans that should be a second yellow card. And Palmer, Colwill and Madueke all having words with Anthony Taylor. And I wonder what you'll make of that, Scott Minter, when you see it on the little monitors again.
Yeah, they're asking the question, is that not an obvious foul and therefore a yellow card and therefore a second yellow and a sending off? Look, my answer would be no. It's a push, yes. It's a foul, yes. It's not another yellow card.
A free kick just a yard or so in field from that far side right touchline in front of the east stand, which is a single tier like all the stands here. Palmer's left-footed in-swinging delivery up towards Renato Vega, cleared away by Bournemouth. It'll drop down now to Christie, who sprints beyond Cucurella, knocks it over the halfway line, and Kluivert is busting it up to get there. He does so in front of Caicedo, corner of the penalty area. Red and black shirts flooding forward in support, but he can't nudge the ball beyond Caicedo, who actually has had a very good game and made a number of crucial interceptions for Chelsea defensively tonight. Caicedo now finding Pedro Neto. Neto down by the corner flag, and he's given it away. That was rather lightweight. Eventually Colwill punts it clear, only as far as Cook with a low shot just beyond the far post. 2 or 3 yards wide from Lewis Cook, sat up nicely on the half volley. And the only thing really that's been missing for Andoni Iraola and Bournemouth in this first half has been a goal. It's still 0-0 live on TalkSport.
Yeah, it's a great strike, wasn't it? On the half volley, dipping down, just going past the post. Robert Sanchez diving to his right, not knowing whether it's going to go the wrong side or the right side of the post from his opinion. But Caicedo, because he'd come out to try and stop that counter-attack, he'd come out. I don't think Renato Vega kind of reads the situation of where he therefore needs to be. As the ball came back out, there was so much space that Cook was able to bring the ball down, steady himself, and then have the shot. And no one, obviously Caicedo was out of it. Vega should be the one in the vicinity to make sure that's not allowed.
Well, it's a difficult situation for Vega, thrust in for his first Premier League start in a role that would normally be occupied, of course, by a player who costs not far off £110 million. Vega, only 21 years of age. He can play left back as well. He's given it away straight to Smith, who skips beyond Vega, hugging the near side right touchline. Adam Smith, deflected cross, came off Cucurella. Evan Nielsen does well, gets in front of Fofana, and that has gone behind for Bournemouth's third corner. A minute of added time at the end of the first half, and it's still 0-0.
Well, this would change things a lot from both perspectives. If Bournemouth were able to get a goal here, they're believing that they should be one up going in at half-time. Chelsea been on the back foot, looked dangerous at times on the break, but the final ball's not been good enough. The attackers haven't got involved as much as they should have done. Now it's just a question of get to half-time, 0-0.
Well, Senesi in particular last season was a real threat from this sort of situation. The Argentine has gone to the back post. He's being marked by Cucurella at the moment. Tavernier will take the corner, left-footed and in-swinging, headed away by Colwill, miscue by Palmer. Cook on the half volley again, he's mishit the shot. Chelsea struggling to clear. Colwill with a poor header out of defence. It's spun back off the head of Kluivert, shanked up into the air by Disasi. Not very far. Cook with a header that is poor. It bounced off the top of his head and skewed away. But now Bournemouth have got it back again with Christie, looking for the opening goal. Tavernier all left foot, back in field to Christie. Lovely way to pass into the area, the angle for Evan Nielsen! Drags it across the face of goal. It just won't go in for the number 9 as the referee blows the half-time whistle, and it is 0-0 on TalkSport. But Chelsea dicing with danger on more than one occasion. The game's major flashpoint came when Evan Nielsen, after a poor back pass by a nervy-looking Fofana, was sent clear on goal. Sanchez came out to meet him, bundled over the Bournemouth striker. Evan Nielsen got up to take the penalty, but Sanchez was there to make the save to atone for his foul. Tavernier has hit the bar. Evan Nielsen, as well as missing the penalty, has had a couple of other good chances, as has Lewis Cook, who looks a danger from range on the half volley. Chelsea's only real chance of note, Nicholas Jackson forcing Mark Travers into a save. Bournemouth the better team, but it's half-time, still Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0.
Yeah, they certainly have been the better team. What a strange first half. I can't believe it's 0-0, Scott.
I know, it's been incredible, really. It's been very end-to-end. It's what we said in the first couple of minutes. Bournemouth wanting to be on the front foot. Chelsea also wanting to be, but not able to. I don't think they've controlled midfield, and therefore the game has gone in the way that Bournemouth has wanted. They've created much more chances. The stats are saying that Chelsea have had 69% possession, so only 31 for Bournemouth, and yet Bournemouth have created 10 goal attempts to 4 and 4 on target to 1, and I think that pretty much sums up what we're seeing.
I couldn't believe it, if I'm honest, when I looked at those. But they've given the ball away so many times, Chelsea. They've been the architects of their own downfall. And the only real one glimmer of brilliance that we saw was Fofana, along with Madueke and Palmer, intricate passing in the box that eventually came to nothing from them. Other than that, they haven't done a lot.
No, and there was just that one time where Colwell ran with the ball and then played in Jackson, and it was actually a really good save from Mark Travers. Apart from that, it's been all Bournemouth, and I've been disappointed with Chelsea going forward in terms of, you know, their wide players getting on the ball, and I think Adam Smith has done really well against Pedro Neto, and I would definitely be having a word with Neto and saying, look, I'm going to give you 15 more minutes, and if you're not demanding the ball, and we're going to leave him alone, have a one-on-one situation, if you can't get past him, I'm going to bring someone else on. But I do think it's because Chelsea have not been able to control the midfield, and Renato Vega, it's almost as if Caicedo's not playing on his own, but Vega doesn't know exactly where he needs to be from a tactical point of view, and certainly from a defensive point of view, so there's no protection. But the bottom line is Fofana's not playing well. Terrible back pass, but doesn't look confident at all. Disasi even more so. He looks so shaky with Tavernier coming up against him all the time, which then even when he's on the ball and he's got a bit more time on the ball, he's looking nervous as well. So it's not been a good performance from Chelsea, and I think Maresca will be absolutely delighted. It's 0-0 at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's an imminent change going to be made as well at half-time, because Jadon Sancho has been taking on instructions and been warming up just in front of us, and has gone to collect his shirt and gone down to the tunnel, no doubt, to join the rest of the players in the dressing room to see what Enzo Maresca can get out of them in this second half. Bournemouth, though, have been absolutely brilliant. Just from the 4th minute, with Tavernier's 25-yard left-footed strike, was going top corner, hit the woodwork. It was absolutely all Bournemouth from then on. It took Chelsea a good 20 minutes to find a rhythm, and I wouldn't even say they necessarily got a rhythm, but the turning point of the game, it felt, came when they were awarded, Bournemouth, that penalty. Terrible back pass from Wesley Fofana. Evan Nielsen pouncing on it. It was definitely a penalty, 100%, you could tell that. And he didn't look nervous when he stepped up to take it. But what I did watch, which you may not have seen, because the players all ran over to Andoni Iraola and the rest of the Bournemouth coaching staff. And Adam Smith, who is captain today, sprinted over to make sure that the right person was taking the penalty, because it looked as if Justin Kluivert had the ball in his hands to start with, and then it was given to Evan Nielsen. Obviously, we talked leading up to the start of the game about the fact he needed a little bit of confidence, get up to the pace. That was a perfect opportunity for him. Was it more Sanchez's good save or Evan Nielsen just not quite catching it right?
No, look, I mean, it wasn't right in the corner, it wasn't right into the inside side netting, but it wasn't a bad penalty at all. But Robert Sanchez, I'm pretty sure he's like 6'6", 6'7". I might even have heard, Max this morning doing on how tall is the footballer. I think he might have been one of those players, and I'm sure he said 6'7". But so it's going to be difficult to beat him, and I think it's really to take a penalty and score a penalty with the pressure. How long, a minute or so that you're having to wait, what's going through your mind. Everyone thinks it's a penalty, you should score from 12 yards. Honestly, you may get 2, maximum of 3 players within the 11 who's willing to hold their hands up and say, I will take a penalty. I want my centre forward to take it. I want him to want to score goals all the time. And I want him, if he gets another penalty, I want him to step up and say that I'm going to take it. But it wasn't a bad penalty. It was a good save from Sanchez. But let's just say Chelsea have got away with that in the first half.
Yep, they most certainly have. Goalless at the break. We'll see what comes of the second half. That's coming up next here on TalkSport.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. 18 plus, stream our internet, terms apply.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
The Philly cheese stack is back at McDonald's. 2 beef patties, crispy and grilled onions, cheddar cheese, all topped with a melted cheddar cheese sauce. What could be better? How about playing the Monopoly game with a Philly cheese stack too? Yes, please. Until 15th of October from 11 a.m. Participating UK restaurants. Subject to availability. 18 plus. App may be required. See mcdrules.co.uk.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less waiting and more working, less downtime and more doing. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
A pitch-perfect delivery of Premier League football.
Game day.
The epicentre of world-class football coverage.
Can you believe it?
Game day exclusive on TalkSport.
This is Game Day exclusive on TalkSport. Faye Carruthers, Scott Minto and Joe Shannon with you at the Vitality Stadium on what has been an end-to-end, slightly niggly but definitely enthralling game so far. No goals though. Bournemouth had a penalty saved and were well on top going into the dressing room at half-time. Could be a change as well for Chelsea though, with loan signing Jadon Sancho going through a one-on-one warm-up and then grabbing his shirt on his way down to the tunnel. Let's see what that first half has done to the odds though, shall we? And get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
James Mackey is back with us for the half-time odds. How are we looking, James?
Yeah, Bournemouth have been the better of the two sides, haven't they? Started so well with Marcus Tavernier rattling the crossbar in the opening 5 minutes, and they should be heading into the break 1-0 up if it wasn't for Robert Sanchez's penalty save. However, they are still the 23-10 outsiders to win the game in the second half, despite having the best chances of the match. Chelsea are still edging favouritism to get the job done in the second half at 29-20, but are very lucky not to be 1-0 down after Evan Nielsen's penalty miss. Bournemouth have been the better team, but for the results to stay the same as it is at half-time in a draw, that can be backed at 9-5. But Bournemouth and Chelsea have scored a joint league high of 4 second-half goals in the Premier League this season, so expect goals in the second half. Just looking at some of the player markets for the second half, and starting with Bournemouth's Marcus Tavernier, he's come the closest of anyone from open play of breaking the deadlock. He's 13-1 to score first, 11-2 to score any time. Antoine Semenyo has also had some shots on goal in that first half. He's 9-2 to score any time, at 11-1 to grab the first goal of the night. For Chelsea, Cole Palmer's been as lively as ever, boosted to 2-1 to grab a goal or an assist in the second half, and also boosted to 11-4 to score any time, with Noni Madueke also looking to get involved in the action from that right flank, and he's 4-1 to score any time. Faye, just on the charity bet, a big second half is needed with all three legs of the bet still yet to land. But if Chelsea win, both teams score, and Nicholas Jackson scores any time in this second half, it'll be £256.27 will be going to the Bobby Moore Fund.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. I've had a shocker if we don't get any games and it stays the same. Thank you very much, James. That odds update, all thanks to Betfair, returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free acca or bet builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
I can confirm Jadon Sancho is stripped and ready to go for the second half, taking on instructions for what his role will be in this second 45 minutes. Plenty of live sport going on right now, including day 2 of the Solheim Cup, which TalkSport's Lisa O'Sullivan is watching for us.
And the shadows are lengthening. The water is rippling in Lake Manassas in Virginia, where the USA are still 8 points to 4 up on Europe. The four balls coming to a conclusion. The US literally getting the rub of the green this afternoon. Megan Kang had a putt that sat on the tipping point for the full 10 seconds before taking the plunge. And that's been symbolic of the way that it's gone for Europe today. USA up in 2 at the moment. Alison Lee and Megan Kang 2 up on Nordqvist and Sagstrom. And Andrea Lee and Rose Young look like they're going to take the first point of the day against Lynn Grant and Celine Boutier in these four balls. It's all tied between Sagander and Pedersen and Ewing and Thompson, but Charlie Hull and Georgia Hall are 1 up on Alison Corpus and Lilia Vu.
The Solheim Cup on TalkSport with Arnold Clark's Road Trip Rewards. Get a free gift when you buy a car today.
Well, it was another disastrous day for Sean Dyche and his Everton side. Once again, they surrendered a 2-goal lead to lose 3-2 to Aston Villa. This is what he had to say after the game. He believes simple mistakes are just costing his team.
We've shown that many times. I think we had, I don't know how many, 13 clean sheets or something last season. So we know it's done. We're not doing that at the moment. Some is, like I say, some mistakes, and they're hard to legislate for. But you know, that killer instinct in the defending box is just as important. But in the attacking box, we made good chances today. You've got to put them away. You know, you've got to take them chances, and they're the defining differences often in the Premier League, in all of football, but certainly in the Premier League, is, you know, attacking one box and having that killer edge there, but also defending like your life depends on it. And the mistakes are really hurting us at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, they certainly are. Nothing going right for Everton so far this season. Things not quite going right for Chelsea here tonight at the Vitality Stadium either, but they are goalless against Bournemouth. Bournemouth had that penalty saved from Eva Nilsson. Robert Sanchez in the goal, who'd given it away in the first place, saving it. And there is a debut coming on for Jadon Sancho, which on match commentator Joe Shannon will be able to tell you about which player has given way as we start the second half of Bournemouth against Chelsea here on TalkSport.
Yes, Pedro Neto, unsurprisingly, is the player substituted. And so, yes, the start of a new era for Sancho, a Chelsea debut tonight. On loan from Manchester United, Chelsea will have an obligation to buy, reportedly triggered so long as they finish in the top 14 of the Premier League at the end of the season. Jadon Sancho grew up a Chelsea fan, born in London. Let's see how he does in a Chelsea shirt. Is this move maybe the start of something new, something better for Jadon Sancho? The second half is underway. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Bournemouth by far the better team. In the first half, they missed a penalty, and Tavernier hit the bar. Chelsea's efforts on goal limited to Jackson through the middle. Good save by Travers, who is the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Bournemouth unchanged for the second half. Smith, Zabarnyi, Senesi and Kirkes, Cook and Christie, Semenyo, Kluivert and Tavernier, with Eva Nilsson, who missed the penalty up front. Chelsea then with Sanchez in goal, the unchanged back four of Disasi, Fofana, Colwill and Cucurella. Caicedo and Vega, the two in the middle, as Evan Nielsen gets in front of Disasi. Down in the left wing position here for Bournemouth. Very early stages of the second half, but they're onto the attack quite quickly here. They go back towards Senesi, who is 10 yards into opposition territory. Lots of fans still making their way back to their seats early in the second half here. There are still quite a few empty seats dotted around the Vitality Stadium as Disasi clears into touch. The rest of the Chelsea team, Madueke, Palmer and the newly arrived Sancho in support of Jackson up front. The ball is out of play for a Bournemouth throw midway inside Chelsea territory. Back they go to Senesi, across to Zabani on the halfway line, and now the ball is at the feet of goalkeeper Travers again, making his first appearance of the new season, with Kepa watching on from the stands on loan at Bournemouth from Chelsea. Scott Minto alongside me. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. What do you make of that half-time change?
Well, I'm not surprised. I did say I'd give Pedro Neto 15 minutes, and if you don't start trying to get at Adam Smith and going past him, then, you know, you're coming off, and clearly he's been more ruthless, Maresca.
Here come Bournemouth with Tavernier. Corner of the penalty area. Early ball flashed. Hit hard towards the edge of the box. Colwill did well, striding away confidently to clear it in front of Evan Nielsen. And now he's burst into the Bournemouth half. He's clearly tripped. Is he from behind by a combination of Kluivert and Semenyo? Well, the referee didn't think so. And Colwill finger-wagging, pointing towards Anthony Taylor. But again, the referee unmoved by his appeals.
Yeah, what I would say from Pedro Neto's point of view is that he needs to be given a little bit of time to really get his Chelsea career going, and if he's only going to be given 45 minutes per game, then, you know, it's difficult to get into your rhythm. Having said that, this is Chelsea Football Club. You've got lots of players in your position that can play in that, so you've absolutely got to be on it from the start. So I kind of understand the move so early. For Jadon Sancho, well, you know, you're still young, but how many moves are you going to make? You know, let's make Chelsea your home. Let's show that you can be the class player, that the talent we know that you have.
24 years of age, Cucurell's poked it onto Sancho. Here's his first touches. Back to Cucurell in the area, cuts it back across. Madueke somehow let it run through his legs from the edge of the six-yard box. Otherwise, it would have been a simple tap-in. Sancho involved straight away, but Chelsea can't find the goal themselves. Stays Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 live on TalkSport. Bournemouth now coming forward at the other end, playing from right to left in the red and black, the striped shirts. Chelsea on the defensive in the off-white change kit, playing from left to right, and they've conceded a free kick. There were a couple of fouls in there, but the eventual decision from Anthony Taylor is free kick to Bournemouth, left of centre, about 35 yards from goal.
Yeah, and just to finish on Jadon Sancho, if Chelsea don't finish in the top 14, I don't think he'd be the only one not wanted to play at Chelsea next season.
Oh, there's a yellow card towards the Bournemouth dugout, towards Iraola, I think it must be.
Just great play from Cucurella down the left-hand side, it really was, and his cutback was brilliant, and how one of the three Chelsea players in the box weren't able to get a proper touch on it, I'm not quite sure. So what happens? Bournemouth go down the other end, and suddenly they've got a great opportunity now. In a set piece, 35 yards out, they're not going to shoot from here, but certainly they can whip the ball in and trouble the Chelsea defence.
Well, I'm pretty certain Andoni Iraola was the man in the dugout who was booked. There was a conversation with Tommy Elphick, one of his assistants as well, but the yellow card in the direction of Iraola, who was the only man in the technical area. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, with the floodlights on here. The first 8 o'clock Saturday kickoff of the Premier League season. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, but Bournemouth have gone close on numerous occasions now. Free kick left of centre, Cook and Tavernier standing over it. Cook the right-footed option, Tavernier to dink it in left-footed, high to the back post, Senesi trying to meet it, leapt high, leapt almost majestically, but didn't make any contact. Then Sancho loses out to Kirkes, who curls one high over the top from 25 yards out. That was ambitious from Milos Kirkes, who's never scored for Bournemouth.
Well, I'm going to be on Jadon Sancho's watch. I want to see how he does in this second half. I want to see, you know, people talk about his attitude. Forget that. Let's start from scratch. Not a good start there, I have to say. He almost jumped out the way, but let's try and get him a little bit further forward, because again, after that initial Cucurella cutback, it's all Bournemouth at the moment.
His only appearance for any club this season prior to tonight, Sancho, was in the Community Shield for Manchester United. Hoisted downfield by Senesi on the diagonal, headed away by Marc Cucurella for Chelsea. Chelsea playing from left to right. Vega, tall and slender in midfield, but a little lacking in power in that first half and rather nervy. Disasi equally so in terms of the nervousness in the right back position. Finds Caicedo. Vega, good ball to the feet of Colwill. Forward 10 yards to Caicedo. They play through the defensive third well. What a ball, Caicedo. Down the middle to Jackson. Between the two centre-halves. He goes down in between Zabarnyi, Senesi and then Smith retreating. Jackson tried to burst with all his pace to get to the ball first, but he couldn't keep control of it and then threw himself to the ground.
Look, the good part of that was the way that Chelsea built it up from the back.
Meanwhile, Bournemouth coming forward at the other end. Kluivert left on edge of the penalty area, running at pace. Right-footed effort! Turned away by Sanchez at the near post. Kluivert was stretching to get the shot in the end. Maybe didn't quite have the power that it wanted, but it's still forced to save from the overworked Chelsea goalkeeper. 0-0.
Yeah, the bad part, by the way, was Jackson falling over, which it was almost embarrassing. But again, what happens? Bournemouth down the other end, the way they can counter-attack really quickly. And Kluivert shouldn't be allowed to come inside. It's a really good shot. He gets good connection on it. It's a fantastic save from Sanchez because it's at the near post. He's got to get down quickly. Although he's not quite, or he's falling over Kluivert, he still makes good contact on it. It's a really good save from Sanchez.
The referee has just put the yellow card back in his pocket again as Cook whips in the corner right-footed, headed away by Colwill, Chelsea's number 6. Little hook by Christie to the right-hand side to find Tavernier. Tavernier with a precision cross high into the area, only half away by Colwill this time. Drops to Kluivert on the edge of the area. He dinks it in left-footed, high to the back post. Senesi is up there. And Senesi's brought it down, but from an offside position. And though Evan Nielsen's headed it into the net, the flag had long since gone up, and it'll be a free kick to Chelsea. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, 7.5 minutes into the second half on Talk Sport on the day when Nottingham Forest won at Anfield for the first time since 1969. Manchester City came from behind to beat Brentford, 4 wins from 4 for the champions. 3-0 to Manchester United at Southampton, live on Talk Sport. Palace 2, Leicester 2, Fulham 1, West Ham 1, Brighton 0, Ipswich 0, Brighton still unbeaten, and Aston Villa 3, Everton 2. Everton losing again from 2-0 up, and they are rock bottom of the Premier League, with only Southampton still yet to pick up a point this season so far. Clever little flick that by Christie, and now it's steered up the inside left channel by Cook to find Kluivert. A couple of yards infield from the corner flag. He's drilled a good low ball to the feet of Christie, who shows good composure in possession to spin away from Vega. Now a little clip ball up the angle by Senesi, diagonally to find Kluivert, down by the dead ball line. Crunching challenge from Caicedo. Chelsea cannot get hold of the ball. No. It's all one-way traffic. It's all Bournemouth.
Chelsea can't get out at the moment. The pressing of Bournemouth is so good. In the end, they're just kind of knocking it long, and the ball's just coming back again. All being played in Chelsea's half at the moment. Chelsea, we know, are very good on the counter-attack and very nearly got in with Nicholas Jackson, but again, it's Bournemouth controlling the tempo of this game.
They've got a throw about 10 yards from the corner flag on the near side of the field. And plenty are forward here in Bournemouth red and black. It's hoisted in towards the near post, nearly fell for Semenyo, dropped to the edge of the area in Kluivert. Good control by Tavernier in a tight area, and now on the overlap is Kirkes to cut it back, steered away from the edge of the 6-yard box by Wesley Fofana for Chelsea. A real test this of this young Chelsea team. Average age in the Premier League this season coming into the weekend of only 23, at least a couple of years younger than any other Premier League side. Bournemouth have got another throw. This one's level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Jackson was booked, by the way, for dissent a few moments ago. Header into the penalty area by Tavernier is intercepted by Vega, who plants his own neat cushion header into the gloves of his own goalkeeper.
Yeah, and you mentioned about it being the youngest average starting 11 by some in the Premier League, and that is the problem. Look, I get the way that it's not just Chelsea, but most clubs want to buy young potential talent, develop them. You know, hopefully Chelsea won't want to sell them on. They just want to make them world-class players. But there's not enough leaders in this Chelsea 11. You give me one leader, give me one guy who you know, Cole Palmer, you could say. You know, he does it through his football, not necessarily being an actual leader, especially with Thiago Silva gone.
Colwill could well develop into that. Little flick by Cucurella from the corner of the penalty area. Lovely dancing feet by Sancho, and he's played a good ball square to Jackson, who curls the right-footed effort high over the top. He should do better. Hands to his head, Nicholas Jackson. It's a very presentable opportunity from a player who can score plenty, has the ability to do so, but also misses numerous good chances. It's quite a far way over the top, that Scott Minto.
Yeah, look, first of all, Sancho, well done. He's sort of tried to get into the box. There's two players around him. He's flicked the ball. He's passed it into Jackson. Yeah, Senesi's done well.
Oh, Evan Nielsen, neat back heel at the other end. Semenyo's beyond the lunge of Colwill, and the free kick is given by Anthony Taylor. After a slight delay, yet another yellow card, this time Colwill. So that is 3 of the Chelsea back 4 who've now been yellow carded, and a free kick to Bournemouth in what is potentially a very dangerous area right of the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, and how often are we saying that Chelsea have an attack and suddenly within 30 seconds Bournemouth can go down the other end? Colwill can claim that he got the ball, not just he brought him down. Look, I get it when you're coming from the side, but no, I think that's actually a good tackle. Sancho got booked as well for dissent.
Enzo Maresca remains sitting in the technical area at the moment, the Chelsea head coach. His team under real pressure early in the second half. We're in the 57th minute. Sancho has now gone to lie down behind the 3 men in white who are in the Chelsea wall, that off-white, almost cream-coloured away kit. Cook standing over it.
Sorry, it was better than the burnt orange and grey kit that we had to wear back in the day, back in the 90s.
Scott Minto, former Chelsea defender, here at the Vitality, live on Talk Sport. Tavernier will lay it square to Semenyo to curl it! A yard or so over the top of the crossbar from the edge of the D. Antoine Semenyo, that would have been a glorious goal for a man who's in fine form. I don't think Sanchez would have got there had it been on target. It was a screamer.
Well, again, well worked, and he was free. Very difficult to get it up and down and beat the likes of Robert Sanchez with the kind of athleticism and wingspan that he has, but he very nearly did it.
Caicedo with a slightly risky back pass to Sanchez, whose clearance first time right-footed wasn't too bad. It was hurried up towards the halfway line. Jackson can't hold up possession. Bournemouth have got it back again. Still relentless from the team playing from right to left. Christie plays it to the right edge of the penalty area. It'll be cut back across by Semenyo. Only half cleared. Christie snapshot off the post! And did Sanchez get a touch? I think he did. Bournemouth get closer and closer and closer, but it still won't go in for them. It's still somehow 0-0.
Chelsea just cannot handle the Bournemouth press. So then when they get the ball back, they're very much on the front foot. Christie's so unlucky, he passes it from the edge of the box. And that must have been the slightest of touches from Sanchez.
To tip it onto the post. Will the Bournemouth pressure tell? Lewis Cook with the corner, punched away by Sanchez, who's been excellent in goal. Easily Chelsea's best player so far tonight, but here comes Noni Madueke, breaking on the counter-attack. Quick feet over the halfway line. He's eluded 2 in red and black. Can he get beyond the third in Cook? He's done very well there, Madueke, to draw the foul from Kluivert. Yet another yellow card given by Anthony Taylor, as this time Kluivert goes into the book. And a free kick to Chelsea in the right-wing position. Well, you just love watching breathless Premier League football like this. Scott Minto live on Talk Sport.
Absolutely, you don't have to have goals to really enjoy a football match, and that was beautiful ball carrying from Madueke, just taking the pressure off Chelsea. If you can't beat the press, then run with the ball 50-60 yards, and 3 players around him, and he was definitely fouled. There's a lot of yellow cards on both sides now, so this could be decided actually. Looks like it's going to be decided by 1 goal, might be more than that. If one team goes down to 10 men, they really put themselves under pressure.
Palmer and Sancho, the 2 standing over it, a yard infield from the right touchline. Sancho's delivery headed away by a flying Kirkes. The loose ball is retrieved by Semenyo, who takes it in his stride and gallops forward. He's got Kluivert to his left. Big deflection on the pass. It's spiralled up through the middle, and Moises Caicedo is there to nudge it back into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Tosin is going to come on for Chelsea shortly, and there's another player who you can see is standing there, but at the moment our view of who it is blocked by one of the coaching staff, but we'll tell you in a moment. Is it João Felix? Yes, it is.
Well, I'm interested to see who's going to come off for Tosin. I don't think either of the centre-halves have been particularly good, but João Felix, need to get him on the ball. And to say Chelsea going forward, Bournemouth have been a better side. Chelsea have not been able to handle the Bournemouth press, and then therefore they're already on the front foot. They've come so close. They missed the penalty, hit the crossbar, hit the post. Definitely deserve to be winning this game, but they're not. And the sign of a quality team is even if you don't play particularly well, you find a way to win. Can Chelsea do that?
Well, it's Madueke who goes off. João Felix onto the field in his second spell at Chelsea, of course, and the other change sees Disasi, who has had a difficult evening right back, replaced by Tosin, the former Fulham man. And Tosin now on for his Chelsea Premier League debut. I think they have shifted Fofana to the right back position by the looks of things. Madueke didn't look too happy to be leaving the field, I have to say.
No, and after that great run he's just done, I mean, I don't think he's played particularly well, but then who has for Chelsea tonight?
Ball has been hoisted high up the inside right channel for Bournemouth. Sanchez, he's played well, out to the very edge of his 18-yard box to claim, and his momentum nearly took him out of the penalty area, so he had to throw the ball out of his gloves and down onto the ground before inertia had its say.
You're right, he's the only Chelsea player who has played well. Disasi could easily have been taken off at half-time, just as Pedro Neto was.
Well, there are many options for Enzo Maresca. Numerous players still not able to make the squad for reasons of fitness. Reece James, Romeo Lavia, of course Dewsbury Hall and Enzo Fernandez are ill. Chilwell and Chukwuemeka seemingly frozen out for Chelsea under the new management. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, but Chelsea are hanging on here really to that scoreline at times. Bournemouth have hit the woodwork twice in the game, and they've also had a penalty save. We'll have reaction hopefully post-match. We'll be able to bring you Enzo Maresca and Antonio Raiola live on TalkSport's Weekend Sports Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 with Natalie Sora and Tony Cascarino. We'll have the Sunday session with Sam Matapace, all the goals as they go in from around the grounds around the country tomorrow afternoon, and championship commentary of Portsmouth against West Brom on TalkSport 2 next week. The return of the Champions League and the League Cup Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday across the network. Make sure you download our app to be across all that. Sancho, neat feet again, darting infield from the right into a central position. Now working the ball back to the near side to find Palmer. Is Caicedo. Palmer's square pass, not got into the game really tonight. Palmer intercepted by Kluivert. There seems to be abundant, tireless energy about these Bournemouth players. Really, you can see that they're a team that are playing with the confidence of a side that could go 4 unbeaten, Scott.
Yeah, they're really fit and well structured, and they really almost pounce at the same time, where Chelsea feels suffocated at times, and sometimes I'm really pleased that Robert Sanchez is not trying to play all the time. Yes, he's starting it, but once he realises the Bournemouth press is so good, you have to go long. Nicholas Jackson's not held the ball up, but need Cole Palmer now to get more involved in the game.
Palmer playing on the right at the moment, it would seem. He darts infield into a central position, lays it square to Caicedo with the blue boots on. Caicedo thinks about having a crack, and he is blocked by Christie. You might remember, Caicedo scored a 50-yard lob against Bournemouth on the final day of last season at Stamford Bridge. That's the only goal he scored in a Chelsea shirt. Bournemouth should be 2 or 3 up. It's as simple as that. And Jackson can't get near the game at all, although Maresca's turned away, furious at something, not sure with the referee or just with his team in general. Semenyo, right wing position for Bournemouth, taking on Colwell, who half stumbled a little awkwardly there. It's poked back into the path of Christie, corner of the area, good interception by Caicedo, who read it well before it reached Kluivert. Now here's where Chelsea can be dangerous. Fast breaks upfield. Sancho, left of centre, got it from João Felix. Sancho is 10 yards from the edge of the box, square to Felix, the Portuguese, and that pace of the break has slowed. Chelsea have still got possession, but Bournemouth have got the red and black striped shirts back behind the ball, 0-0.
Yeah, since Felix has come on, he's the number 10 now. Cole Palmer has come out to the right, and it's a position we know he can play, and obviously played quite a few times for Chelsea and still helped dominate matches. I think number 10 is his best position, but we've not seen enough of him, and I think it's right that Maresca is just trying something different while keeping Palmer on the pitch.
Well, Bournemouth could move into the top 5 with a win tonight, and it would be 2 wins and 2 draws if they can find themselves a goal. But we've seen it so many times, haven't we, Scott? We've all seen it and heard it so many times. One team absolutely dominates, misses chance after chance, and then there's a sucker punch at the other end. Sancho forward to Cucurella, inside left channel, he's into the penalty area, back towards Jackson, could fall for Jackson again, on the turn he sent it wide. Well blocked by Senesi, lunging in, and he gets a high five from his goalkeeper. That was the chance for Chelsea, they've got a corner.
Well, I was just thinking after what you said that would be the sucker punch. Great play again from Cucurella down the left-hand side, cutting the ball back. Jackson spins really well, actually, but spot on again. Joe, it was really good defending from Bournemouth central defenders and making sure they were there first, deflection, and it's a corner.
Well, the 1,300 Chelsea fans on this relatively mild mid-September night are finding their voices. Chelsea have a corner now as we head towards the midway point of the second half and what will be the final quarter of the game. 0-0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Now the assistant referee has delayed the taking of this corner. Now he's back in position. Palmer and Sancho over it. Palmer left-footed in, swinging right underneath the crossbar, punched away by Travis. It'll drop down to Cucurella, mud on the back of his shirt. Cucurella whips in the cross over the head of Ed Jackson and thundered away on the volley by Justin Kluivert upfield. And Andoni Iraola is now going to make a couple of changes. The Bournemouth boss choosing to bring on substitutes for the first time. Very exciting young player, Alex Scott. I'm sure there's much more to come from him. And off goes Christie. And Evan Nielsen, who missed the penalty, also being substituted, so he's still yet to score. Luis Sinisterra, the Colombian, who has scored all 3 goals in the Premier League for Bournemouth off the bench, is the other man to come off.
Yeah, interesting. I think just in the last 5-10 minutes, Chelsea have just wrestled back, not just in terms of possession, but territory as well. I think Iraola's thinking to himself, okay, Evan Nielsen, we talked about adjusting to the pace of English football. Obviously, he'll be disappointed he didn't score that penalty, but it's really important that he's got another, 67 minutes under his belt, and just something different from Iraola.
He looked a little dispirited, didn't he, Evan Nielsen, but I'm sure there is more to come. Ball has been given away by Colwill for Chelsea. Vega was put under real pressure there, but Alex Scott couldn't quite keep possession, the former Bristol City man. He had some knee injury issues last season, did Scott, so could only make 11 starts in the Premier League. He is featured in each of Bournemouth's games so far this season, and well, he's only 21 years of age, so as I say, there'll be a lot more to come, no doubt.
The talent, there's no doubt about it. That's why they spent £25 million and gave that to Bristol City. It's so difficult when you do step up. It's not just the technical side of it, but it's the physical side of it. And your body needs to get used to it. Sometimes you can just pick up lots of injuries until you get used to the pace and the ferocity of the Premier League.
Sancho trying to take on Smith in a one-on-one, and his pace is good enough to beat him. Sancho caught on the penalty areas, poked it through the legs of the defender to Cucurella, onto Caicedo, dinks it up neatly. Sancho's cushion header square is steered up into the air by Kirkes. Away from danger for now for Bournemouth. Maybe Chelsea, just in the last few minutes, starting to see a little more possession once again, and there's a slightly more even keel about the game going into the last 20 minutes. Great ball tossing through the middle, nearly set up Palmer from a central defensive position there, tossing, but now he's got a back pedal because Sinisterra's got possession and he might be bearing down on goal. Tosin stands up well to make a good interception, the former Fulham man.
Great tackle, his last man there as well, wasn't he?
João Felix with a good ball up the middle, but well read by the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Mark Travers, quick off his line to clear, done absolutely nothing wrong tonight.
And you know what, I think you're right. I think it's gone back to being 50-50 now. Bournemouth definitely been the better side, but in terms of who's going to go on and win this game, Chelsea, I say, wrestle back the tempo of it.
Out on the left is Sancho again, in front of the Chelsea fans. Smith backpedaling a little. Sancho's played it square into the penalty area. The angle tight again. João Felix, corner of the 6-yard box, tantalisingly close to goal. Tries a delivery and it's bounced off Scott. Then it's hit João Felix and it's gone behind and away for a goal kick to Bournemouth at the Ted McDougall end, away to the right-hand side.
But he has looked lively since he's come on, hasn't he, Felix?
Yes.
And he's got inside the box there, and once you're inside the box, defenders don't want to make those tackles. Alex Scott does really well. He tries to cross it, Felix. It hits Scott, comes back off Felix, then goes for a goal kick, but much better from Chelsea in the last 10 minutes.
Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on now. Tottenham against Arsenal, Wolves, Newcastle live tomorrow. Search Now Sports. And we will have updates of both matches on the Sunday session, and on TalkSport 2, Scott and I will bring you commentary from Fratton Park of Portsmouth against West Brom in the Championship. And on Monday night in League One, what a game, Birmingham against Wrexham. Two teams with huge ambitions and plenty of money behind them. Cucurella, edge of the box for Chelsea, finds João Felix back to goal. He's surrounded by red and black shirts. He goes down in between the two of them. He still managed to wriggle away from Senesi, even when he was on the floor. Doesn't get the free kick from referee Taylor. Bournemouth tried to break, but it's won back by Vega, who's growing in confidence. He's 25 yards out. They're backing off. Vega rolls into the penalty area, almost got all the way through. Just at the last moment, Zabarnyi come across to sweep it away.
Brilliant defending from Zabarnyi. And that's what you want from Vega.
Chelsea having a good spell, and it's still 0-0. Somehow still 0-0. It's with João Felix again. 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area. He sets up Cucurella to cut it back from the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Poor delivery. Smuggled away by Tavernier. Well, Bournemouth slightly running out of ideas now.
It wasn't that long ago we were saying Chelsea couldn't get out of their half. Now it's Bournemouth can't get out of their half. It's been really good substitutions from Enzo Maresca, and Chelsea on the front foot.
A real ebb and flow of Premier League football. Live on TalkSport. The return of the Champions League and the League Cup to the network next week. Young Boys against Aston Villa and AC Milan against Liverpool on Tuesday. Man City into Milan on Wednesday. Atalanta against Arsenal on Thursday. And the League Cup action for you. We'll have commentary of Manchester United against Barnsley and Coventry against Tottenham. Both those games will be on TalkSport 2. On the halfway line is the tall Tosin, who looks relatively confident in possession. Square ball to Vega, left of the edge of the centre circle here. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0 into the last 17 minutes. The latest odds are with Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Bournemouth to win 7-2, Chelsea to win 2-1. The draw at 19-20, that's all thanks to Betfair, who are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Fofana, near side the right, back to Tosin. Some brilliant games in the Premier League today where control of certain matches has gone back and forth. We've had a shock when Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool at Anfield earlier this afternoon. A comeback for Aston Villa, 3-2 against Everton. Manchester City were 1-0 down to Brentford after 23 seconds, but came back to win 2-1. Chelsea have been under the cosh here on the south coast, but they're still level at 0-0. Sancho's tried to wriggle away down the far side, the left. Can't get any change out of Smith. The Chelsea fans thought that should have been a corner. Play continues. Chelsea thought they had a throw. Cucurella, in fairness to the referee, was trying to take that from way too far forward up the touchline. It was much closer to the halfway line than it was to the corner flag, so they'll have to take it again. Meanwhile, another Bournemouth change. Justin Kluivert and Adam Smith are both going to come off here. Adam Smith in the week that he signed a new deal. Julian Araujo with the dyed blonde hair, a summer signing, and a man who is pretty synonymous with a lot of what Bournemouth have done over recent years. The giant Philip Billing also coming on. So it's Billing and Araujo with Smith and Kluivert going on.
Yeah, again, we said at the very start, didn't we, the pace of the game, that I wouldn't be surprised if both sides make lots of substitutions, but I just think just because in the last 10-15 minutes it's been more Chelsea, Bournemouth are start to look a little bit tired individually. So Iraola trying to wrestle back control and tempo of the game, where they've had it most of it. They've certainly had the better of the chances, but that missed penalty, hit the post, hit the crossbar. But this moment in time, if you're going to say, name one team who look like they're going to go on and win this game, remarkably enough, I'd be saying Chelsea.
On he goes, Billing, about 6'4". It's a different dimension to Bournemouth's attack, just as it looked like Kluivert was maybe starting to slow down in the game. 15 minutes to go and it's 0-0. Alex Scott forward from the halfway line through the middle to Sinisterra, lays it off back to Billing, and then Sinisterra darts into the penalty area Waiting for a ball into the box. Billing corner of the penalty area. Gets it back. The angle's very tight. He's pulled it back towards Tavernier. Caicedo slipped. Did he get a touch on the ball with his arm? Bournemouth fans appeal. Nothing given by the referee, and the offside flag was up anyway. So that will be a free kick to Chelsea, and it'll be interesting to see that again on the little monitor that we're lucky to have in the commentary position, Scott.
No, it was offside anyway. So even if it did touch the arm, which we didn't quite see on the replay.
No.
I mean, it wouldn't have been given a penalty anyway, because it going down the handball route, it certainly wasn't an unnatural movement and in an unnatural place. But it didn't matter, it was offside.
Bournemouth not won here in the Premier League against Chelsea since January 2019. A long time to wait. It ended 0-0 ironically here last season, but given the chances that we've had in the game, Bournemouth hitting the woodwork twice and seeing a penalty saved, it is unbelievable that we haven't seen a goal.
It is. The last time I was here was the Luton game, where it was
the 4-3.
4-3, Luton were 3-0 up.
That was incredible. Kirkhead surging up the left-hand side for Bournemouth, and he's gone down under the challenge of Caicedo. Goal kick given by Anthony Taylor. Kirkhead, the Hungarian, goes to ground and stays down.
I didn't want to say at any part of this game, even the way it started at almost 100 miles an hour, that this will not end 0-0. But you do sort of think now, next goal wins it, first goal wins it. It's been that tight. And although Chelsea, as I say, certainly haven't had the better of the chances, that's been for Bournemouth. It just looks like the substitutions have made a real difference to Chelsea in the second half.
Colwell's got the ball just shy of the halfway line, a long pass down the middle end, but João Felix, he's brought it under control with Senesi almost slipping over. He did just enough to force João Felix wide, and the Portuguese couldn't make anything of it, and now Bournemouth are on the attack themselves. Billing, early ball from the left when he maybe should have decided to take it further up the touchline himself. Chelsea win it back. And the big games will keep coming in the Premier League, the first North London derby of the season. Tomorrow we will have updates on the Sunday session on Talk Sport, as well as Wolves against Newcastle, and commentary on Talk Sport 2 of Portsmouth West Brom. Vega's deflected effort for Chelsea from range, loops up and is gathered by the goalkeeper.
At least he's getting a little bit more involved in the game. First half he didn't really see much of the ball, and he wasn't helping protect alongside Caicedo the back four. And now it looks like he's trying to get a little bit more. The game's opened up now, hasn't it? You can see players have been tired, the substitutions have been made. It's just crying out for that one bit of skill and then that clinical finish that we haven't seen from either side yet.
Well, worth saying, as well as the live football tomorrow, there is NFL action on TalkSport 2 as well. The first Sunday of the new season. We also have a new NFL show on our TalkSport YouTube channel, where you can also check out all of our boxing content with Talk Boxing. Now then, here comes a change for Chelsea that is not that surprising. Jackson does leave the field, and Nkunku will get the opportunity to play up front here. Christopher Nkunku, whose 2 goals so far this season have come in the Europa Conference League. Of course, he is yet another Chelsea signing who's suffered with massive injury issues since joining the club in 2023.
Yes, he has. This is like his first season at Chelsea, not his second.
Sancho's got possession for Chelsea on the far side, the left. He has made a positive difference, Jadon Sancho. They've been much more of a threat on the left-hand side, and for a player who's not played a lot of football this season, I think he's looked quite sharp and dangerous at times, Scott.
Yeah, he has. You know, you want him to get even more involved and make even more of a difference, but to be fair, when he has had the ball, he has looked sharp.
Oh, we've got 10 minutes plus added time to go. Toss it. 0-0 the score, Bournemouth against Chelsea. And here is Colwell, midway inside his own half the field. Little square ball to toss it. Rarely has there been a lull in the tempo of the game as well. That's made it really exciting to watch. That's a foul by Senesi. Now he's going to get a yellow card. Senesi booked after a foul on João Felix. Been a busy night for Anthony Taylor.
He's got a book to write tonight, hasn't he?
A book of bookings.
Not a match report.
Yeah. I guess he's been consistent, hasn't he? I wonder whether some referees would have let some of these go.
I wouldn't have given as many as he has, but
he's had, I guess he had to if he was going to be consistent, he sort of hamstrung himself early on, didn't he?
Yeah, to a point. There've been different types of fouls that I think, like for example with that one, he didn't have to give a yellow card. I think there's been a couple of others, but no, there's definitely been fouls that have been worthy of yellow cards for sure.
Chelsea give it away. Scott, was he fouled by Cucurella retreating? He was. Right in front of the referee. Cucurella has already been booked. Right off the back of the conversation we just had. Bournemouth supporters can't believe it. And Andoni Iraola looks pleadingly towards the fourth official. I don't think he can believe it either.
Yeah, well, don't forget we had one earlier with Lewis Cook, didn't we, where he bundled Cole Palmer over. I didn't think that was a second yellow. And again here, I think it's pretty much a very similar thing for Lewis Cook. I think he's bundled into him. It's a definite foul. I don't think it's a yellow card, not for me. Got to be careful though, Cucurella.
I just wonder where the consistency is though.
You disagree with me there,
I think we've seen yellow cards given for less, haven't we, today? Possibly. As Cook tries a strange free kick from the middle of the Chelsea half and it comes to nothing. I'm not baying for any player necessarily to be sent off needlessly, obviously.
You're a bad kid, Joe.
But I'm just wondering whether that consistency was there from Anthony Taylor. Header away, half header away by Cucurella, who's then beaten to it by Semenyo. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. 82nd minute. Semenyo's ball from right to left is going to drift towards the dead ball line, and Fofana did well there to shepherd it behind, only just under the challenge of Tavernier.
And look, I know what you mean, and there have been very similar fouls, but again, I liken that one to the Lewis Cook foul. That, you know, if you're talking about consistency, well, that could and should have been a second yellow card, and so he should have been sent off far earlier. But, you know, you've got to go to the letter of law. That's the bottom line, but I do think there are some that are so subjective that you're thinking, really? Are you going to send someone off for that, or give them a second yellow, which you know is going to affect the game, when you could have done that earlier as well on another player?
Well, here comes Unal for Bournemouth, back fit and on for his first appearance of the season. The Turkish international not been able to play since May because of an ankle problem. His long hair tied back, he goes straight up the middle, and there is a greater physicality about Bournemouth's threat now in the last 7 minutes plus added time. Philip Billing has forced an error, and it'll be a Bournemouth throw. Well, you feel that you've seen it so often in the Premier League. Is there one more chance coming for either team in the game? 0-0 it remains. Zavani, crossfield, right to left, lovely ball, taken in his stride by Sinisterra. He's into the penalty area, he skipped beyond two, he's curled it right-footed. Good block by Tosin. Arms behind his back to turn it away. Now it's with Senesi. Senesi hooks the ball left-footed. That's a ping across field, left to right. Araujo, the substitute, delivers left-footed, headed away by Tosin again. He's looked very steady at the heart of the back line since coming on for Chelsea. And Nkunku's laid it off to Cole Palmer inside the centre circle. Palmer square to Cucurella. Pace of the attack slightly slowed. Booze for Cucurella, who shovels it on to Sancho. Sancho in field from the left-hand touchline. Back it goes to Levi Colwill. Chelsea have had to show character when under such pressure in this second half.
Do you know what? I think Bournemouth will certainly claim that they should be winning this game, but Chelsea have come back more into it in the second half, and although they haven't created lots of chances, you know, I do think they've been the side more likely to score.
Caicedo, midway inside his own half the field, certainly put in a tireless showing tonight, full of endeavour. Chelsea go to West Ham next in the Premier League before 4 home games in a row in the League Cup and the Conference League. Bournemouth's next game is away at Liverpool. Now here comes Caicedo down the middle to João Felix, right edge of the penalty area, suddenly injects a flash of pace and trickery, but he can't get beyond Kirkes on the edge of the penalty area. Billing gives it straight to Caicedo. Chelsea suddenly having a good little spell.
Yeah, João Felix coming on has made a big difference. He's made a couple of runs off the ball trying to go in behind, and no one's seen him. He's got the ball there, really good defending from Bournemouth. 4 players on him on the edge of the box in the end. But again, the pressure now is coming from Chelsea, not Bournemouth.
Sancho drops his shoulder, plays a good ball infield to Nkunku in the area. He's bursting through, he scored! Nkunku off the bench to win the game maybe for Chelsea. set up by Jadon Sancho on his Chelsea debut, and Nkunku curls it into the bottom corner and have Chelsea pinch the points on the south coast. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1.
Well, over the whole 90 minutes, or well, let's just say 85, Bournemouth, without a doubt, have had the more chances, the better chances, and not just a missed penalty. I talked about how the second half Chelsea have been better. The substitutions have been good. They have made a difference. João Felix for sure, Jadon Sancho as well. But what about that, Christopher Nkunku? He's come on the pitch. We talked about how really it was a lost season last time out. He needs to make an impact for Chelsea. Jadon Sancho gets on the ball, but he's still got so much to do, Nkunku. He turns inside the box. He's got about 3 players around him. 1 touch, 2 touch, a little bit lucky, but once you get inside the box, and I'll talk about from a defensive point of view, you don't want to make that tackle. And by not making the tackle, he's kind of done a little 1-2 for himself. And he's turned really quickly, and once he's turned and he's able to get first in ahead of the defender, he was always going to finish that in the bottom corner, giving Travers no chance whatsoever.
The celebrations were wild in the away section. Chelsea lead 1-0. The late goal has arrived, and it is a Chelsea goal. Jadon Sancho with the assist on his debut, Nkunku with the finish, and it may be the subs who've come on and won it for Chelsea.
Absolutely. Look, I talked about Jadon Sancho. Let's have a look at you. He's made the assist. He has been good since he's come on in the second half. Want to see him do that on a regular basis, a consistent basis. Really pleased for Nkunku with the season he had and the terrible injury in the last pre-season. But well done, Enzo Maresca. He's made changes and they have made a difference.
Vega, Scott, jumped into the Chelsea crowd. He was mobbed by about a dozen Chelsea fans, and I'm sure he was booked for his part in the celebrations.
Yeah. Just glad he wasn't booked before then.
Well, you can understand the emotion from the young man on a big night for him and a big goal for Chelsea and Maresca, heading for back-to-back away wins in the Premier League. So it would be 6-2 at Wolves and now 1-0 at Bournemouth. I don't know whether smash and grab. I mean, that's one of those cliches, isn't it? But how would you describe the Chelsea performance, Scott? They've had to see off a lot of chances for Bournemouth, but they have looked a threat, I think, as you said, particularly since the subs have come on. It's not as though Chelsea have not been creating in the game.
No, it's a really good question as to how you describe it. It's not a smash and grab, but you've got to say Bournemouth have been the better side over the whole 90 minutes. Or should I say have created in the most chances, the better chances in front of goal. Obviously the missed penalty being the main one, but in the first half, they were the better side by far. Chelsea haven't been as good as Bournemouth were in the first half in the second, if that makes sense. But it's all about that clinical finishing. I said that, and that's come from Nkunku.
Chelsea lead 1-0, but Bournemouth are on the attack. Semenyo with a shot inside the penalty area. Colwill gets across to make an important block. Colwill's been excellent tonight for Chelsea. Looks to be firmly Chelsea's premier centre-half.
It's his best position. You know, I was really pleased to see Lee Carsley play, first of all Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, who is a left winger, but then a left-sided left-back. But he's not actually a left-back, he's a centre-back. That is his best position, and I want to see him playing that for Chelsea.
Well, he has given it away, but only momentarily. Caicedo wins the ball back for Chelsea on the edge of the penalty area. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport, and we're into the last minute of normal time. Chelsea with that late Nkunku goal, which looks like it's going to be enough to win the game. João Felix has nutmegged Cook. He's been tugged back. Cook, one of the players who's been yellow carded today.
Go on.
I'm not calling for a yellow for that.
I'm actually saying, is that not a yellow card itself, the fact that he's dragged him down? So I think Anthony Taylor, he may not have been to the letter of the law for every decision, but I think he's been very, very sensible.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
And we're not talking about him, we're talking about players on the pitch who have won the game, not a referee who's affected it.
Yep. Scott Minto alongside me, and we've got our double-header continuing tomorrow at Portsmouth. I'll see you there.
Sleep well tonight.
6 added minutes at the end of the game. What a great game it's been at the Vitality. Chelsea look like they're going to win it. Now the flag is up on the near side. Not entirely sure why. Bournemouth left back position. Maybe was there an offside against Palmer?
Yes, there was. Yeah, and Bournemouth have got the ball back.
Chelsea finding a way to win where Palmer hasn't been that influential.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be really important for Chelsea going forward. You shouldn't rely, no team should rely on one man, and they certainly did last season for most of it. If you've got the likes of Joao Felix and Christopher Nkunku and Jadon Sancho.
A yellow card for Joao Felix now for a foul in the centre circle. The free kick has been taken quickly. Bournemouth go out to the right-hand side. We're nearly a minute into 6 added and they're 1-0 down to Chelsea, maybe undeservedly so, but Chelsea have taken the chance that has come their way. We're just looking at the sheer number of yellow cards that have come in the game. 7 for Chelsea and 5, I make it, for Bournemouth. So 12 yellow cards over the course of this game. And I wouldn't say it's been a particularly dirty game as such.
No, it hasn't. But Joao Felix's pullback there wasn't any worse than Lewis Cook's.
Ball has been hoisted downfield by Colwill, and Nkunku looking to get in behind. He's teasing Zabarnyi again. Zabarnyi looked like he might have had hold of his shirt. Play continues. Bournemouth come out of the defensive third with possession. It's with Sinisterra on the halfway line. Back it goes to Senesi under pressure from Felix, and Senesi just hoists the ball up the left-hand side. Bournemouth trailing by a goal to nil. 1 or 2 empty red seats starting to appear at the Vitality Stadium, and they know with only 4 minutes of added time to go, they're running out of time.
Yeah, they shouldn't go. They shouldn't go. It just takes one chance. I mean, my guess would be it will stay like this, but Bournemouth players certainly can't think that way. And if they do get that one chance, they've got to be clinical.
Headed by Cook on the halfway line. Vega reaches the ball before Semenyo and drives a lovely pass. Left-footed, he's been much better in the second half, Vega. Out to the far side, and Sancho waits for Cucurella's underlapping run. Nobody in the penalty area for Chelsea. Alex Scott able to smuggle it clear for Bournemouth. 1-0 Chelsea lead. 2.5 minutes through the 6 added at the end of the game. Christopher Nkunku off the bench to score what looks like the winning goal, and Jadon Sancho's name being chanted by the Chelsea supporters. He grew up a Chelsea fan, and he's come off the bench in his debut to set up that goal. Looked really bright. It's very early days, of course. It's only one substitute appearance, but much more like it from Sancho.
It's too early, Joe. It's too early. But absolutely, what we've seen so far is what we want to see on a consistent basis. That's what we want. Consistent, good displays.
Here comes Caicedo, leaving it for Fofana, almost whipped it off his toes. Fofana down the middle now, chopped down by Senesi, was he? No free kick given. Bournemouth have got the ball, and up they come from right to left. Lewis Cook carries it over the halfway line. They left it very late against Everton. We're halfway through added time here. Semenyo's reverse pass, Billings low cross, turned behind by Colwill at the near post. He is screaming at the referee.
Brilliant defending again from Colwill. They're not giving up, Bournemouth, and I'll talk about this one chance. This may not be it, but he's positioned himself perfectly. Really good cutback from Billing. Colwill just right place, right time.
92 and 96 minutes against Everton. We're in the 94th minute here. They're 1-0 down. Billings corner, well gathered by Sanchez. Great hands high above his head on the 6-yard line, and you'd have to say one of Sanchez's best games for Chelsea.
Absolutely, Joe. Let me tell you, from a defensive point of view, when you're under the cosh, you're 1-0 up away from home, and you know that the opposition team are going to give it absolutely everything they've got in the last few minutes. What you want is a keeper to come out and claim it just like he did. Take the pressure off.
Just over 90 seconds to go. So Chelsea have the lead, and they nearly have the victory. It would take them up to 7th in the Premier League with 7 points from their first 4 games, but Bournemouth are not done yet. They're about to lose in the league for the first time this season. Unal turns on the edge of the D, drills it low, Sanchez turns it away, just got his body behind the ball. Now Billing crosses, high left-footed, Unal with the looping header, Sanchez there again, a much easier save. Chelsea's goalkeeper has had plenty to do, but everything Bournemouth have thrown at him, he's been equal to it.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, Bournemouth. Giving it absolutely everything. Bournemouth fans, do not go away just yet. Anything can happen, but a really good save from Robert Sanchez. It's going to take some strike to beat him tonight.
Well, we are into the last minute now. Chelsea fans can feel the end of the game getting ever closer. Arms outstretched, they're chanting away on the far side, and now more and more of the Bournemouth fans are heading for the exits. There's a lot of promise for Bournemouth in terms of the way they played tonight. And it does look like ultimately they won't have any points to back it up.
Well, they're ticking down the clock now, aren't they? I'm sure the referee will add a little bit of time on, but it'll be seconds more than minutes.
Well, there's only 15 seconds to go. Live on Talk Sport, Chelsea leading by 1-0. And Chelsea taking their time with this free kick that is pretty much in the left-back position. So the ball is where Chelsea want it, near enough. And time is nearly up. You're right, Scott, I think maybe 30 extra seconds, possibly.
Probably another minute, just I'm not sure a minute is always added on.
Well, it's always a minimum of 6 minutes added time in this case, isn't it? There's a television camera right next to Enzo Maresca, ready to celebrate his second league win in charge of Chelsea. Headed away by Zabani for Bournemouth, who've won it back. Is there one last foray forward? Long ball by Semenyo, toss in there to clear it away. First time on the volley. Anthony Taylor has blown the full-time whistle, and it is another victorious Premier League away day for Enzo Maresca and Chelsea. It was certainly far more difficult than the first one they won at Wolves, but Chelsea, through grit, determination, a little bit of luck, and the impact of substitutes, get the job done. Jadon Sancho on his Chelsea debut with the assist off the bench to set up Christopher Nkunku, the goal scorer of the winner, with just 4 minutes to go. It's really tough on Bournemouth, who lose in the Premier League for the first time this season. They had a penalty saved in the first half. They hit the bar in the first period, the post in the second. Sanchez was inspired in the Chelsea goal, but for Bournemouth it just wouldn't go in, and Chelsea knew that if they kept at it, and resolute they were, they might have one last chance right at the end. And when it came, Nkunku took it. Sancho off the mark with an assist. Nkunku off the mark in the Premier League this season with his first league goal of the campaign, and a second win of the season for Chelsea. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1.
Well, what a fantastic performance in the end from Chelsea, and really Enzo Maresca and Robert Sanchez, it feels, won that game for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think there were some really good substitutions from Enzo Maresca, and it looked like for all the world it was going to be a 0-0 game, or certainly one goal would decide it, and obviously that came from Chelsea. I think Bournemouth will be kicking themselves that they didn't get at least one in the first half when they were on top, but I talked about how Pedro Neto had perhaps given 10-15 minutes in the second half. Maresca was ruthless. He said, no, you're coming off. Sancho, come on. And I thought Sancho was very good. I thought all the substitutions were very good. I thought Levi Colwill was excellent as well, but you're right. At the first half, but also right at the very end, Faye, Robert Sanchez made some crucial saves, and even little things like coming out and catching the ball. Not just punching, and Bournemouth still having the ability to get the ball back in the box. Just coming, claiming, calming everything down. So I thought he was superb. I thought the substitutes were very good indeed, and it's a very satisfying performance and night for Enzo Maresca. 3 very, very good points at a very difficult place to go.
Yeah, it was. Bournemouth were fantastic for the majority of the game, being applauded off by their fans. Disappointed they didn't get all 3 points. The first points they've dropped in terms of a loss this season, but the Chelsea players have just been over into the far corner celebrating with the Chelsea fans. And Nkunku's celebration, the balloon celebration that he does for his son, he did at the time, one of the balloons popping out over from the Chelsea fans. They're delighted, the Chelsea players are, bearing in mind the off-field issues that the club itself have. The players eventually did it on the pitch. Palmer was very quiet, I felt. The substitutes needed to come on to inject a little bit of life. And you talked there about Jadon Sancho needing to show consistency. Should they not get too excited about the performance that we saw from him there? He has to back it up now.
Absolutely. And this is Chelsea Football Club. This is a club that, of the last 20 or so years, have been chasing Premier League titles and Champions League titles as well. So Jadon Sancho, we know is kind of a checkered career so far. We know the talent. He's not been able to fulfil that, not in the last couple of seasons. You know, if Chelsea has been his team, then hopefully that will give him a little bit extra. But whether it was or whether it wasn't, it is irrelevant, really. He's being paid now by Chelsea Football Club to perform for Chelsea. And what I saw in those 45 minutes were very promising. But it's 45 minutes, Faye. It's got to be a whole season we're talking about. And then it's got to be a second season and a third season. You know, if you want to be considered world-class, which I'm sure is what he wants to do, he's been a million miles off it in the last couple of seasons. So he's got to try and, first of all, when he does come on as a substitute, show that he can make an impact. Secondly, show, because he's made such an impact, that he should be starting. And then when you're starting, you're not one of those getting taken off, because you know, like Cole Palmer, you say, and you're right in saying it, he didn't have the best of games tonight. But he wasn't taken off because you know what he can do. That's the position that Sancho wants to be in.
Yeah, we're at that point now, aren't we, where, I mean, one goal decided this game. 14 yellow cards there were in the end, and I think Anthony Taylor he'd marked his own card right at the beginning by giving, you know, a softish yellow, and it just kind of went from there. It was quite a niggly game overall, and lucky actually that it ended with 11 aside, because we didn't think that at one point.
He's going to be up all night writing that match report, isn't he? And the yellow cards. You know, God knows what time he's going to get to bed. But what I would say is, and Joe was right to point out that actually some of the ones who are on a second yellow, they could easily have been given a second yellow when they made the fouls. I'm talking about Lewis Cook, was it Marco Correa as well, and there was one other Chelsea player. But I just think it was really good refereeing, again, to the letter of the law, and I'm a great believer in that you do have to go to the letter of the law to a point. But there's also where it has to be subjective, where we don't want to be talking about referees affecting a game. We want to be saying it's down to the players. And look, if anything, Lewis Cook could have got a second yellow before Marco Correa could have got a second yellow, and I think it might have been Caicedo as well. So I just thought it was really good refereeing. I thought, yes, you know, early on he booked some players where perhaps he didn't necessarily need to, but I just thought, we're talking about the players. We're talking about two teams that did have 11 players on the pitch. And if it had been an outright obvious one, then of course you've got to give him a second yellow or a red card. But it wasn't obvious enough. It was subjective enough for Anthony Taylor to say, no, I'm going to keep this player on the pitch. And it happened on both sides. It wasn't biased one way or the other.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So much more to get into with this game. Coming up, we're going to pick our player of the match. We'll bring you some post-match reaction from the tunnel as well. And we'll go through some of the Premier League action from today. That's next here on TalkSport.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less faffing and more fixing. Less driving, more drilling. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
The Philly cheese stack is back at McDonald's. 2 beef patties, crispy and grilled onions, cheddar cheese, all topped with a melted cheddar cheese sauce. What could be better? How about playing the Monopoly game with a Philly cheese stack too? Yes, please. Until 15th of October from 11 a.m. Participating UK restaurants. Subject to availability. 18+. App may be required. See mcdrules.co.uk.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
So, as the manager, what can we expect from the season?
Why ask me? You have the sun.co.uk, or as I call it, the special sun.
But can we expect any new signings?
Again, please, you have the sun.co.uk for these answers.
Do you have any thoughts on team selection?
You're making me repeat myself. They have match reports, tactical analysis, and everything you need to know for the new season.
Right, so I've got it. The sun.co.uk for all the answers for the new season.
Isn't it obvious? Next question.
Hello, I'm Bedroom. Remember me? I used to be your favorite room. The first room you wanted to show off to all your friends. Now I'm a mess, hidden from sight, covered in clothes. But all is not lost. An IKEA wardrobe, lamp and rug would turn this forgotten place back into your favorite space. Create the bedroom you have always dreamed of. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
At Betfair, we're here for those who look at football differently. Those who notice when the team of Galacticos, with a packed European and domestic schedule, might be about to underestimate the well-rested, well-drilled mid-table team. Build the bet you want with a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Betfair. Play different.
Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds of 1.5 on minimum one leg. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
It's time to travel through the Stargate to the live football universe. Game day.
What a bit of skill!
Live football as intense as we can legally broadcast it.
Can you believe it?
Game day exclusive on TalkSport.
This is Game Day exclusive on TalkSport. Faye Carruthers and former Chelsea defender Scott Minto with you. Our match commentator Joe Shannon is waiting in the tunnel to bring you interviews with Enzo Maresca and Andoni Iraola after it finished here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1, and it's time for us now to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
I am intrigued, Scott Minto, to know who you're going to go for. I know who I'm going to go for, but I wonder if we're on the same page.
Right, you put me under pressure now, aren't you? Do you want to tell me who you go for and I'll see if it's the same?
Controversial. I'm going to go for Sanchez.
I can't believe you said that.
Really?
That's really controversial.
No.
I'm going for the same.
Really?
Honestly.
Excellent.
No, because what I was going to say was I'm really pleased with Christian Nkunku. The fact that he came on, obviously the season he had last season, he's come on and been the match winner here. Really pleased with Jadon Sancho making the assist, and I thought it was 45 very promising minutes. Joao Felix looked really good as well when he came on and sharp. Levi Cole, I think, defending in the second half was really good. But Robert Sanchez, not just for the couple of saves he made at the end, but actually when Bournemouth were really on top in that first half. And it's not just the penalty save. I think there was some really good saves that he made, and it was a really commanding performance. So, yes, absolutely, I agree with you, Robert Sanchez.
I thought he was fantastic. I think that's the most confident I've seen him in a Chelsea shirt, I reckon.
Yeah, and what I liked about him as well, he tried to play the ball out with his feet, but actually Bournemouth's press was so good, he didn't force it. At times he realised, absolutely, and that's sometimes not what we're seeing from a lot of goalkeepers and a lot of defenders at the moment. It's about knowing when you can do it, but actually when you're really under pressure, and Bournemouth are so good without the ball and so good with their high intensity and pressing that sometimes you just got to go long and don't mess about with it. So his decision making was very good, his saves were very good. Obviously the penalty save was just exceptional and so important in terms of a game where it was always going to be tight in the end as to who got that first goal. And then the couple of saves he made at the end, I thought he was brilliant. Arguably his best game in a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, I agree with you. And first Premier League clean sheet of the season for Chelsea as well.
I think that's really important, Faye. I really do. I think the fact that they have looked very good going forward in pre-season and generally at the start of the season as well. Obviously they stuck 6 past Wolves. They can't keep on relying to have to score 2, 3, 4 goals to win a game. So the fact that they kept a clean sheet means you only need to nick one down the other end, and that's exactly what they did. They nick one down the other end, but it doesn't matter. It's 3 points. They go home, and they are where they are in the table.
Yep, they certainly are. Let's see where they are in the table, in fact, after today's results. 7th, indeed. 7 points, level with Arsenal, who of course play in the North London derby tomorrow, which you'll hear updates of during the Sunday session with Sam Matterface. We're going to talk through some of the other results from today as well, but that was our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
By the way, Chelsea next in action on TalkSport next Saturday in our 12:30 game day exclusive commentary, which is live from the London Stadium as they face West Ham in the Premier League. So much more live football in between then and now, though, starting this weekend, because on the Sunday session with Sam Matterface, Perry Groves and Dean Ashton on TalkSport from 1:30 tomorrow, they'll have all the goals as they go in from the Premier League and EFL, including Tottenham, Arsenal and Wolves, Newcastle. And over on TalkSport 2, the dream team of Joe Shannon and former Chelsea defender Scott Minto, who you have been listening to.
You say that to all of the co-commentators, don't you?
I said it with a glint in my eye. Portsmouth against West Brom in the Championship, which will be enjoyable for you two tomorrow, no doubt. And then on Monday in League One, it's a TalkSport 2 exclusive again, because of course we are the home of the EFL here on the TalkSport network. Birmingham against Wrexham. I mean, that is like a Hollywood blockbuster for various reasons. Tom Brady versus those lovely lot at... I've just forgotten Ryan Reynolds' name off the top of my head. How could I forget Ryan Reynolds' name? Unbelievable. Anyway, that's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Jim Proudfoot and former Liverpool women's striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk in the chair for that one on Monday night. Also remember that the Champions League returns to the TalkSport network this week. Over Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to bring you Aston Villa, Liverpool, Manchester City and Arsenal commentaries on TalkSport and on TalkSport 2. We will head down to the tunnel at the Vitality Stadium here at Bournemouth to hear from Enzo Maresca and Andoni Iraola as soon as Joe Shannon can get both the headline makers to the TalkSport point to speak to us. But let's have a look back at some of today's big stories. The most eye-catching probably at Anfield, with Liverpool dropping points for the first time this season against a Nottingham Forest side who were fighting relegation just a few months ago, but now sit very comfortably in 5th place, unbeaten this season on 8 points, which is quite incredible, isn't it? It was Callum Hudson-Odoi on the score sheet, former Chelsea player, of course. Beautiful goal into the far bottom corner. Alisson can get a touch on it. By the way, first Forest win at Liverpool in any competition since 1969.
I wasn't even born then.
Wow. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I know you wouldn't believe it looking at me, but look, I didn't see that coming. And if anyone predicted that, then please tell me what the 6 numbers are in the next the next bit of lottery. Yes. But look, I thought it was brilliant from Nuno. Really was, because most people, and I agree with them, when they saw the team sheet, you know, why are you not playing Elanga? Why are you not starting with Hudson-Odoi? Why are you not going for that kind of sit back and encounter really, really quickly? But clearly he got his tactics spot on. But that's really disappointing from Liverpool, isn't it? You know, after 3 wins out of 3, the international break, always difficult for the big boys to come back and hit the ground running again. But Nottingham Forest at home, with the greatest respect to Forest, that's something which is a massive, massive shock.
Yeah, it really is. And Salah was so quiet as well. I tell you what, I really wish I could just rewind time and go back to my fantasy Premier League team, where I decided to go for Mo Salah over Erling Haaland, who almost scored a second hat-trick today. Didn't, just got the 2 goals instead in a 2-1 win over Brentford, which we will discuss very shortly. But Salah very quiet, and the end of Liverpool's unbeaten run. Aston Villa 3, Everton 2. I mean, oops, I did it again, talking of 90s classic music as we did earlier on.
Very good.
2-goal lead, Everton blue. Dwight McNeil and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 2 goals from Ollie Watkins, and then a cracker from John Duran moves Villa up to 3rd, level on points with Liverpool. We will hear from the Villa boss Unai Emery, but I'm very conscious of the fact that we're likely to get Robert Sanchez, Chelsea's goalkeeper, who we just awarded man of the match to with Enterprise Rent-A-Car just a second ago, in the tunnel with Joe Shannon. As soon as he is there, I will be throwing to that, so we won't hear from the Villa boss just now. But this was an incredible collapse yet again from Everton.
Yeah, absolutely, and it would arguably have been as big a shock as Forest beating Liverpool at Anfield if Everton had gone to Villa Park and won there. I am concerned for Everton. You know, last few seasons we know that August hasn't been a good month, and you look at how they finished last season in the end. Take away the points deduction, and they're a mid-table side. And after the start that they had, but can they just keep doing this season after season after season? And we know it's the last one at Goodison Park. You know, it's so important for them to remain a Premier League club when they go to the new stadium. And what's going to happen with the owners as well behind the scenes. That's so important to get that bit sorted out. Sean Dyche can only control the controllables, but when you're 2-0 up for the second time, you know, you need to find a way to win. And now, even if they go 2-0 up again, which everybody wants to go 2-0 up, I mean, I hear people saying it's a difficult scoreline. Well, I understand what they're saying once it goes to 2-1, but still give me 2-0 every day of the week. But even if they go 2-0 up, it's always going to be the back in the mind now is one goal and suddenly they panic. And actually the opposition, even if they go 2-0 down against Everton, they'll be thinking, we get one goal, they're going to go here. Yeah. So that's a massive problem. For Aston Villa, it was a really good win.
Yep, certainly was. I mentioned Robert Sanchez there. Chelsea's goalkeeper, he's down in the tunnel here at the Vitality Stadium with Joe Shannon.
Faye, thank you. Yes, Robert, with me live on Talk Sport. Congratulations. Just how important a win was that?
It was massive. The first games on the season are a bit difficult. This one especially as well, where the way they came at us the first 15 minutes, but the boys did really well and we deserved the win, I think.
As a goalkeeper, is that one of the most satisfying sort of matches you can have?
I guess you make a penalty save, some good saves in the game, you know, a lot of actions and keep a clean sheet, so I'm all over the moon.
With the penalty, did you have an idea of where he was going to go? Have you got a strategy for penalties, Robert?
Yeah, as I said, we always study the opponents. You know, I knew him when the keeper dives early, he tends to switch the ball, and I knew if I stayed as long as I could, he was going to put it there. Good decision, good save.
I guess as a keeper, is it just about the closest thing you can get to scoring a goal?
Exactly. That's the one, but I mean, it's my job, so happy for that.
Tell us about the game itself tonight. There was a lot of pressure from Bournemouth, wasn't there? It was one of those games where you had to really dig deep as a team.
Yeah, no, as I said, the first 15-20 minutes, they came at us with a lot of energy. It was really difficult to try to play out with the ball. But like I said, the boys did well, you know, didn't crumble under pressure. We deserved the win.
The manager seems to have got quite a consistent back four going. How important is that for you as a goalkeeper to be able to work with them like that?
Well, I'm really happy. Top players, like I say, but the whole squad is amazing. You know, a lot of boys coming from the bench, like Christo scoring the goal, coming in. And this is what we need. It's a great squad.
And just one last one, Robert, on Jadon Sancho setting up the goal off the bench. How exciting is it to have him as part of the squad?
No, amazing player, talented. Obviously, we know his career, what he's done. He's going to bring a lot to us, and I'm happy to see him doing really well his debut.
Robert, well done tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Brilliant stuff there. Robert Sanchez speaking to Joe Shannon live on Talk Sport after Chelsea's 1-0 win over Bournemouth. Over the moon, the goalkeeper said he was. And of course, talking there about Jadon Sancho, who came off the bench to make his debut at half-time and set up another substitute, Christopher Nkunku, for that goal in the 86th minute. Right, a second ago, and by the way, we will go back down to the tunnel very shortly if Joe Shannon has either of the two head coaches in front of him. But let's hear from the Villa boss, Unai Emery, who's been waxing lyrical about his striker after that phenomenal winner from John Duran.
He's focusing a lot the matches he played, help in understood to the team. His task is work and then score goals, and even scoring one goal, he had another two chances to score. I think is the way, and I think we want to try to set every players with their characteristic, their skills, like they are doing. And we have now to strike a very good striker. And of course, I am very happy for the team, for them, and try to use them being as well, being intelligent.
Yeah, he's very intelligent, John Duran, as well. And we saw what he could do. Was it against West Ham? Another cracking goal that he scored after all the question marks over whether he was actually going to go to the London Stadium. And he made sure that everybody was kept quiet there and very much said, I'm staying here. Champions League football he gets to ply his trade in as well. And he's been a cracking striker. And Ollie Watkins as well, 2 goals for him. Obviously, very dry spell. I think it was 8 games that he hadn't scored in. So really important for him to get his shooting boots back on.
Absolutely, and look, cracking goal from John Duran, and you know it's brilliant if you can get a winning goal like that. But I'm really pleased for Ollie Watkins getting back onto the score sheet, not just 1 but 2, and that's what good strikers do. They don't just settle for 1; they try and get that second in the game. And it's in a way he'll probably be thinking it's a shame that I didn't get a chance of getting a hat trick in the end, being taken off towards the end. But Yeah, there's no doubt about it with Ivan Toney going off to Saudi Arabia that he is the one who's going to be breathing down the neck of Harry Kane. And obviously we know Harry Kane in his 100th cap scored a couple of goals. It was the perfect day, but it wasn't the perfect Euros. So Ollie Watkins needs to keep doing what he did last season. And in many ways, he's almost the perfect striker. He's a fantastic athlete. He works really hard. He's a good finisher. Yes, of course, he can miss chances, but so can any striker. But he can run the channels. He can hold. I think he's better than he thinks he is in terms of holding the ball up. I think he wants to go in behind all the time because of his pace. But actually, I think there's going to be times where you're going to need that kind of take the pressure off and drop off and have a couple of defenders hanging off the back of you. But he's strong enough to do that. His touch is good enough. Trust yourself a little bit more. But I'm really pleased for him that he's got 2 goals today. He's back on the score sheet. And hopefully for him, it will be a sort of like a streak he'd be on now after what was a streak he didn't want to be on for the previous 8 games.
You talk about strikers potentially missing chances, and Erling Haaland could have got a hat-trick of hat-tricks today, but I think it was the woodwork that denied him that. But he did score 2 goals coming from behind against Brentford at home at the Etihad. Johan Visser had scored after, I think it was like 23, 24 seconds. He put Brentford ahead. They just weren't ready. Caught cold a little bit, Manchester City. But Haaland to the rescue. And what was not a scintillating City performance, in fact, hold that thought right there, because the Bournemouth head coach Andoni Iraola is with Joe Shannon in the tunnel.
Thank you, Faye. Yes, Andoni, I'm sure you're really disappointed by the result. It could so easily have been a win for your team, and you've ended up losing it. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's football, no? Probably we deserve today, no? Much more. I think we were the better team today. I think we created more chances than them. We pushed them during most part of the game. But at the end, against this kind of opposition, especially when you start, no, missing the penalty, you hit the crossbar, you hit the post, the keeper is playing very well. You can feel it, no, that in one moment they will punish you, no, and this is what happened at the end.
Is there sometimes a feeling, you sort of almost said it then, that it's just not going to be your night, whatever happens?
We kept believing, and I think we were, especially first 65, 70 minutes, I think we've been quite good. At the end, probably we missed a little bit of energy. It's normal. We've decided to be brave against them, and we had a lot of transitions and a lot of demands, no, in our press. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the performance. I think probably the 2 games we played at home, Newcastle and Chelsea, probably we deserve to. For sure, we deserve to win both, and we finish with 1 point. It's very little, the reward, but we have to try to keep doing some of the things we are doing and be better in the boxes.
There must be a lot of encouragement for you in terms of some of the attacking play. The chances that you are creating must be very encouraging.
Yes. I think we are without the ball, defending, I think, quite well. We are transitioning very well. When we have more time, we are creating. We had today, I think, 6-7 corners, a lot of free kicks. You could smell, no, that we were pushing them, but it's difficult because they are very good, no? And even in situations where they are defending 2 against 2, 3 against 3, they take good decisions defensively.
And a tough night for Evan Nielsen. Worked really hard, but missed the penalty. Do you have to say much to him to pick him up, or does he kind of know what to do really anyway with that?
No, I will not evaluate him because he scored the penalty. He didn't miss the penalty. I think we ask other things from the number 9s. I think he has been dangerous for the opposition. He has done his job in the press. He has fought all the night. He has got another chances. He hasn't scored today, but I think overall is what we ask him to do. No, I'm sure he wants to score. The sooner the better. But I will not focus on this.
Andoni, thanks for your time tonight. Much appreciated.
TalkSport's Joe Shannon there in the tunnel with the Bournemouth head coach Andoni Iraola. The better team today, he said, and you can't really argue with that.
No, I think they were by far and away the better side in the first half, but I do think Chelsea were arguably the better side in the second half. But if you balance it up over the whole 90 minutes, yes, Bournemouth I think were that much better in the first half than Chelsea were in the second. But again, it's about what you do in both boxes. And they did. Chelsea had a keeper who was almost unbeatable on the day. You know, if you miss a penalty, and is it miss the penalty or is it just a really good save? either way, that's a wonderful opportunity.
Certainly is, and we have an opportunity to go back down to the tunnel now because the Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca is with Joe.
Enzo, thanks for talking to us. How satisfying is it to come away with a victory tonight?
Yeah, very happy because I think we played 2 different games. First half we struggled, we didn't win duels, we didn't win second balls, and in this stadium against this team, first of all, you need to win duels, you have to fight all together, and I think second half we were much better. Already when we start, not even before the change, then with the changes, to be honest, we improve a lot.
Were you worried it was going to be a very difficult night for your team during that first half?
Absolutely. I expect exactly the game in the way we face first half, but probably we were not ready in terms of attitude, in terms of behave. I think second half we completely changed, and the team was much better.
You mentioned the substitutes. Is it satisfying as a head coach when players that you brought on come on and set up the winning goal, score the winning goal?
It's not because we scored the winning goal. It's because overall I think we improve. Sometimes we make changes, we make mistakes also, but tonight was quite good.
And I know you've been very positive about Jadon Sancho since he joined the club. Did he show tonight, it's early days obviously, but a little bit of what he can bring to Chelsea?
Absolutely. This is exactly what we expected from Jadon, and we are happy for him.
When you won your first Premier League away game of the season, you scored 6. It was a very different kind of game. Was it encouraging to see that character and that courage that a lot of your defensive players, your goalkeeper, showed tonight?
I think all the games, they are different, and you need different way to win games. This game is completely different from Wolves because Bournemouth, they are very aggressive, they are man-to-man in their stadium, they are very dangerous. And so the game that we prepared was in the way we play second half. But as I said, first half we struggled a little bit, but then at the end we are happy.
And those celebrations satisfying at the end and after the goal?
Yeah. I think we were happy for the fans also because when we win a game, we like to share with them, and they deserve it.
Just one last one, Enzo, from me. I think there were 14 yellow cards tonight, which is a Premier League record, I've been told. Did it feel like that kind of game? Was it a bit excessive, maybe, 14 yellow cards?
This is a question for the referee. The only thing I can say is that sometimes the game demand also the attitude, the behave, and this kind of games that is full of duels. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more strong, and this is probably the reason why.
Enzo, thank you. Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff there down in the tunnel. Joe Shannon speaking to the Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca, the Bournemouth head coach Andoni Iraola, and Chelsea's goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. We were halfway through talking about Manchester City's 2-1 win over Brentford, but just to wrap up some of the other results from today as well. Crystal Palace 2, Leicester City 2. Jean-Philippe Mateta's stoppage time penalty rescuing a draw for Crystal Palace. They fought from 2 goals down for that point. Both teams remain without a win this season, but Palace will definitely be the happier of the two sides after avoiding a third Premier League defeat just by the skin of their teeth. It finished 1-1 between Fulham and West Ham United, and Brighton Ipswich finished goalless. Good point there away from home for the newly promoted Ipswich Town. I also haven't yet spoken, and we talked about penalty saves, but Onana for Manchester United saving from Cameron Archer's weak penalty in Southampton 0, Manchester United 3. Southampton had been well on top before that penalty save. They'd started brilliantly, but De Ligt, Rashford and Garnacho scored the 3 goals to give Manchester United all 3 points. Jack Stevens was sent off with 10 minutes to go as well, but a good confidence boosting win with all the noise that goes around Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. So a cracking day overall today. Scott, you're off to Fratton Park tomorrow. Enjoying tomorrow too?
Really looking forward to it, absolutely. Not even going to go home. Going to drive to Portsmouth now and then get to bed early and be ready for that game tomorrow.
That's very sensible. I was going to ask you if you'd... I mean, I love travel news. It's always brilliant. I've got to drive back to London after this, but very, very sensible. A little night in Pompey for Scott. Going and finding a 90s club, I reckon, on his own.
There are some people I know, and you know as well, that are out right now. I'm not going to mention any names.
Oh, I know exactly who you mean.
Not mentioning any names.
On this area of the South Coast. I know exactly who you mean. Anyway, enjoy Fratton Park tomorrow. You can hear Scott alongside Joe Shannon. Tomorrow at Fratton Park, Portsmouth against West Brom in the Championship. Been brilliant to have your company. Coming up next year on TalkSport 2, it's Fight Night Extra with Adi Oladipo and Gareth A. Davis. But here at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth had the best chances, but it's Chelsea who take all 3 points with